Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Dimmitt, Texas, local teenagers decide to drive out to a rural house on Halloween night that they believe is haunted and occupied by devil-worshipping witches. But what ends up happening is way more than just a little spooky. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, and welcome to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, very much for joining us on it's a special Halloween edition of Small Town Murder. I went deep and found some Halloween stuff to deal with, and it's good shit. I tried. You have to really dig because there's a few very famous Halloween stories that have been done by every show on the face of the earth. So we had to dig deeper than that and go a layer under it, and I found the good stuff. So it's going to be a crazy episode, obviously. We'll get into it. But first, just thank you for everything you do for us, first of all. We do appreciate it. Your reviews help, so thank you for those very much, whatever platform you're listening on.
Terrific. Yeah.
They help a lot. Thank you. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Oh, yes. Live shows lined up. And get your tickets right now because a lot of these shows are sold out. These are rescheduled shows. So people have had tickets to these for almost 2 years. Literally. In December, it'll be 2 years.
And so you guys, thank you for doing that for us. That's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I can't believe, I can't imagine waiting 2 years to see something that I wanted to see. We better fucking deliver, Jay.
And they had the option to return them them, and they held on to them. So thank you so much.
With us. Thank
you. Thank you. Next, we can't wait to see you in Tempe. Those are sold out. San Diego sold out. Brea Improv, still some tickets left at the Brea Improv next month.
You better get on it.
So get on that, sell that out, and then the rest of them are pretty sold out. One show in Seattle, too, has tickets. The Thursday night show in Seattle has tickets left. The Friday one sold out. So get on that. Thank you so much for doing that. We're so excited to get back out on the road and see everybody.
It's going to be great.
We can't wait. Patreon this week. My goodness, we have good stuff this week. Yes. Oh, boy. If you've been waiting for Patreon, this might be the week. And anybody over the $5 level, you get access to everything, all the bonus episodes for both shows and everything like that. Really good stuff. This week, the whole back catalog. This week for Crime and Sports episode, which you'll have access to, we are going to talk about the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Oh, fun.
Which is when Vince McMahon said, I bet people will want to watch people pose on pay-per-view.
It's not even the build-up to the pose. It's just the pose.
Not weightlifting, bodybuilding. And it didn't work. We'll just say that. I love defunct, failed things, and this is hilarious. A lot of Vince McMahon wanting to see you without your shirt on. It's going to be hilarious.
Or pants.
Or pants. Take it all off. Let's see you in a Speedo. Oh, there we go. And for Small Town Murders, Small Town Murders bonus, we're going to do, every once in a while, we dip into kind of the request bin. And this one has been probably our most requested thing that we've had of us. We're going to talk about Scott Peterson, obviously the murder of his wife, Lacey Peterson, and the unborn Connor as well.
All right. Pregnant wife. We're going to get into the whole deal of Scott's story and whether it holds water or not. Because a lot of people, this is also one where people have a lot of opinions. That was a bad choice of words. I understand, but. You know what I mean. Yeah, I guess. So,
anyway, some people think he's innocent. Some people think he's guilty. Some people think he's guilty but shouldn't have been convicted. It's a weird thing. Right. We'll talk all about it and get into it there. Scott Peterson, patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that good stuff. And also, Jimmy is going to give you a shout out as well. So get ready for that. Over at PayPal, use our email at crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
Quickly, the disclaimer.
It's so dumb, but I can't stop.
I know. I said it, and I was like, I know what I just said. I'm trying to get through the
I can't stop.
Disclaimer here. This is a comedy show.
It is.
It is. We're comedians, and we're going to make jokes. There's going to be death, obviously. It's called Small Town Murder, but we trust us the way we do this. We do it tastefully, as they used to say when taking distasteful pictures, but we actually try. We go out of our way not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes.
What?
Well, we're not scumbags. That's how it works there. Yeah. So that sounds good. Welcome aboard. We're going to have a crazy Halloween-y, creepy, scary, haunted house kind of a time.
Small town of horrors.
Small town of horrors. And if not, if you think comedy and true crime should never go together, we might not be for you. I don't know. But we might be. So check it out and hear a crazy story. Either way, everybody, let's sit back, clear the lungs, get all of the Smarties and pixie sticks out of your hands and shout, Shut up
and give me murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy.
Great.
Let's go on a trip.
I would love that for sure. Yeah.
We are going to Dimmitt, Texas.
Oh, boy.
Which, if you look at it quick, it looks like Damn It, Texas. Yeah. Because it's D-I-M-M-I-T-T. So quickly at a glance, you're just like, damn it, Texas. It's going to happen a lot this episode.
Where is it? How far into Texas is it?
This is the Panhandle, baby. Yeah. This is southwest of Amarillo.
That's
in the Panhandle.
Still Texas? Damn it.
Damn it. Shit, I thought I was in New Mexico already.
I thought I got through it all.
Or Old Mexico or some shit out of here. Northwestern Texas, obviously. It's about an hour away from Amarillo. It's about 4.5 hours to Albuquerque, to the west if you go. And it's about 4 hours over to Dean, Texas, which is our last Texas episode, right. A horse of a different feather. Yeah. Where we were sick as a horse over that one. It was a tough one.
Bad similes and comparisons to horse.
That's right. Episode 212. This is in Castro County, area code 806. Town motto, very simple. It's just, yeehaw! Just a long sign. It's a very long one.
So many E's.
That's it. And a lot of A's and W's, too. I think I nailed all of them, though. I think I got it right. History of this town. It's located on the old Ozark Trail, which is a road system built to get from St. Louis to El Paso. So there's that. That's why it was here. Buffalo hunters arrived around 1876, and by the early 1880s, took them about 5-6 years, eliminated every last one of the fucking buffalo in this area, killed them all, used to shoot them from the trains, and then it's a mess. Now, a guy named William Andrew Tate, who is known as Uncle Buck, which is great. So I'm only including this because his name is Uncle Buck. He established a lumber and wagon yard and later opened a hotel and then another hotel. And he waged an unceasing war against cattle rustlers. Damn it.
Good. Yeah.
God damn these cattle rustlers. In 1892, they built a wooden frame courthouse. And by 1906, I'm going to give you one guess what happened to it.
It burned down.
Burned to the goddamn ground when lightning struck it and destroyed it.
How about that? It survived your fucking streetlights of fire, and the gods struck it
Took it down. Nope. Can't have that. So they built a big brick one in the place of it there. In 1942, oh my God, I'm sorry, C.E. McLean opened the first state bank of Dimmitt, which I think is hilarious. I love that. So it's Dimmitt, obviously. In 1942, a meteorite was discovered in Castro County and it was named Dimmitt. It was named the Dimmitt meteor. It's one of 311 official meteorites from Texas.
It's real.
That have been caught. Yeah, it's over 400 pounds, this fucking thing. That's huge.
It's not like the Joe Dirt space pucky?
No, this is like a giant, almost 500-pound meteorite that fell. Yeah, it's pretty interesting here. There's a lot of lettuce that grows here, onions, tomatoes, carrots. They grow that.
Around.
Cattle and sheep are obviously big in this area. If you ever drive through there, you can smell that for a fact. Reviews of this town, these are pretty funny because there's only a few. None of them are 5-star.
No.
But none of them really hate the place either. They're just kind of being polite. Here's 3 stars, kind of small town polite here. 3 stars. Dimmitt is a small town with, for the most part, genuine people and easily accessible amenities. By the way, all proper grammar and punctuation in that sentence. This is the most impressive review I've ever read right away. The roads are currently under construction, which makes getting around town difficult, and there's only one small grocery store, but a person could do much worse in regards to a town in West Texas.
Good point.
Okay, so
West Texas is brutal. Yeah,
that sounds like 3 stars. That was a good review. I trust their Yelp reviews. I want to know where they eat. Here's 2 stars. Not so happy with the place here. Living in Dimmitt for 18 years, the town is very small. There is construction because they are fixing the roads. The only way to turn down a certain street is to go all the way around.
Yeah.
That's. Thing about construction on roads, though, is it's temporary,
right?
Especially in a place like Dimmitt that doesn't exactly have the largest road system going on the face of the earth.
Don't worry, they'll run out of ones to improve.
Yeah, they'll get over it. You'll be able to do it. Here's 2 stars here, and this is very simple. They have one complaint. There are little to none bars around this area, and nightlife is uncommon.
Somebody's missing pussy.
I can't get laid. I fucking got to get drunk in my trailer, and I don't like it.
I've been resorting to drinking and driving for music and drinking.
Just otherwise, it's just boring. I don't want to be sitting there. Maybe I could drive around, find somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? 3 stars here. You can find most things you need in town, but most of the time we have to drive to a bigger town to get more important stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Drugs? Is that drugs? More important stuff. I don't have that.
Medication? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe drugs of some kind.
Yeah.
Either whether illicit or prescription or needed.
Whether
medically necessary
or not.
Yeah, whether medically necessary or recreational, doesn't matter. So here's 2 stars. The job opportunities are scarce in this area. Most jobs, and I love this sentence, by the way, most jobs are usually taken or need to have certain qualification to get the job. So there's either people who already have the job or you need to be qualified for that job.
And that's not fair.
Which is... He didn't necessarily say it's not fair. He just said that's the way it is, I think. I don't know. I feel like he's on the outside looking in here, but I think he just described how the job market works generally.
Welcome to America, Sven.
Yeah, probably most places. You still have to be qualified.
Probably true.
Even if you have a good social safety net, even in Sweden or something, they don't just let anybody do anything. What do you want, air traffic controller?
Right.
Well, it says here that you're mostly blind in one eye and have a nervous condition, and you require many trips to the bathroom due to your Crohn's disease. I think this is a perfect job for you. No, that's not what happens. Yeah. There's jobs for that.
You paperwork for your 401k. See?
Yeah, I don't think that happens. So people in this town, population 4,005 people live here. Tiny, and it's been the same for 50, 60 years. They've had pretty much the same population. It's moved like 100, 200 either way. It's down 9% since 2000, so it's kind of dwindled
due to grow.
A little.
Yeah.
It's due to, I'm surprised it hasn't, honestly. Female population, male is really right on the money average, couple more females than males. Median age is low here. It's 33.4, which is normally almost 38. And most of that is because there's so many children here. This town, the age 0 to 9-year-old population, that demographic is just like double the normal here.
Really?
So there's a ton of kids here. Yeah, just a ton of kids. Married population, it's about 47%, so pretty close to normal. More divorces than normal, but the widowed rate is right on the money. So I guess that's good. People aren't killing their spouses more than normal. Single with no children, 12.2%. That's over the average. So if there was a place to go out and meet people, which there isn't, you could do it, but you're going to have to go somewhere else. That's why you just drink and drive around, as we discussed earlier, what people are doing. I just
pick up a friend.
There ain't nothing to hit. I'm just,
Get in.
It's an open road. Don't drink and drive, by the way.
Obviously.
I don't want anybody blaming that on us. But still, you never know. And they blamed fucking heavy metal for murder. So, I mean.
Good point. They talked about drinking and driving, so it's their fault.
Yeah, it could happen. Race of this town, 24.9% white. So pretty low for our show here.
And for Texas.
Yeah, 0.9% black.
What?
So no black people. 1.8% Asian. So none of that. 72.1% Hispanic.
They are figuring it out here.
Yeah, which is that's obviously these are they're Mexican definitely. This isn't. There's not a lot of Cubans walking around probably, or just based on location. I'm just going to say here.
Geographically, it's set.
It's 68.5% of the people here are religious. Because when you mix West Texas Baptists with Mexican Catholics, you get some serious religion going on here.
And
that's
shitloads
well
of kids,
over the
James.
average. And a lot of kids, exactly. 25.5% of the people here are Baptist, and I would say they're the Catholics of the whatever the fuck, but 29.6% are Catholic. So
how about that?
That's it though. There's nothing else. Not a Presbyterian, not a Lutheran to be found. 0.0% Jewish, Muslim.
How the Mormons working out?
None. 0.0. No, I feel like they'll get run off with shotguns in this town. Y'all get off my property. Clack clack. Okay then.
Got a rosary for you.
Jesus says to hello. Bye. See you later, and they'd walk away. Probably, I would assume. Politically in this town, very conservative area here. 22% voted Democrat in the last election, 77% Republican, 0.7% independent. So not a lot of independent going on. Now, unemployment rate is low here. It's about 4%, which is low, but also the median household income is low as well. Median household income here is about $40,000 a year, which is well under the $57,000 normally.
But that's farming community stuff.
And that's the thing here. The agricultural, like the way they classify jobs, agriculture, forestry, fishing, and hunting are under the same thing. Normally, that's 1.3% of the jobs in the nation. Here it is 21.2% of the jobs.
It is everything to them.
That's what's here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what's here. That's it. About 25% of the people here make 20 to 30 grand a year. So
great.
These people, there's a lot of hardworking people that aren't making a lot of money. This is what that tells me. People working out.
Some of the hardest shit on the planet.
outside in the West Texas sun, bringing home $24K a year for their family. That's
Forget
tough.
the actual job they're doing.
Yeah.
Mix that with the climate and the place they're at. Forget it. This is crazy.
The job could be read a book, and it would be fucking by Friday. You'd be like, I can't. I gotta sit. I'm just dying here, man. I gotta sit in a cold tub. I gotta go.
5 o'clock yet?
Whew, it is hot out here, boy. Let me tell you something, because it's hot. It's just hot.
Hurry up and
so
paint
hot.
this fence, Hunk Finn.
Yeah. There's no trees there either. Like this area.
Oh my God, it's so
seen
desolate.
the pictures. It is barren. It looks like the moon up there. So I mean, there's not a lot going on.
And there's not low lying shit. You can see fucking
tiny
armadillos, James. It's
just
crazy.
walking. Yeah, it's really, really. You can too. That's sad. You can see armadillos. It's very. We saw them. We're like, that's an armadillo. We must have crossed the border into Texas. It's this international signal of Texas. Cost of living in this town, to go with the low wage, normally 100 would be average. Here it's about 71.
That's helpful.
The rate. Median home cost. The home costs are the way lowest. They're 32 out of 100. Median home cost. Yeah,
these are not.
It's
these are not homes.
They're homes, but they look like. They look like people. Yeah, it's $115,900 as the median home cost here.
Wow!
So it is definitely affordable,
unbelievably
affordable.
So
that's good. That's helpful anyway, because we've had the town like last week where the income was low and the houses were all $500,000.
Right.
We're like, how the fuck do you live here? Well, here, if we've convinced you, damn it, damn it, Texas, if we've convinced you, we have for you the Dimmitt, Texas Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $654, which is like half the national average.
Yeah, that's so cheap.
It's not bad. I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. It is 1,248 square feet. It's not wonderful. Not a lot of yard. The yard is pretty
How many
brown.
bedrooms?
3-bedroom, 1-bath.
Wow.
Which is interesting arrangement there. If you have some kids, good luck in the morning. Everybody getting ready. It's decent, though. You could live there. It's livable, nice, at $93,000. So under $100K. You know,
2021. That's great.
You can live there. So good. That's good. Mm-hmm. This one here, this is a decent little value. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,647 square feet. Mm-hmm. So big house. It's got a 3-car garage. It's nice. Half acre it sits onto, so the neighbors aren't on top of you like the other one. Needs a little update, but not like it's not from 1982. It needs it's got a couple rooms of ugly wallpaper. There's some carpet you'd want to tear up, but you could move in and be fine there while you do this shit. Doesn't need a redo. $174,900 for that.
For half an acre of Texas.
And 2,700 square feet. You can't. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And then I found this is outside of town a couple miles, because where our story takes place is outside of town. This is over near Nazareth, which is just down the road. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,340 square feet. So big house. It's nice too. 10 acres of flatness.
Yeah.
Very nice inside though. I mean, it's updated, and it's with attention to detail.
Okay.
Done very well, except it has those goddamn sliding barn doors that don't give you any privacy.
Stop it, Rebecca. Stop putting those in your fucking house.
At least it's in an appropriate place in West Texas where there should be barn doors, not in, Minneapolis. So $1,400,000 for that, though.
Jesus Christ.
It's a little pricey.
10 acres, though, James.
10 acres. It's a lot of land. Mm-hmm. And I assume that land is good for whatever goes on there, farming, grazing, I don't know, shit like that.
Mating armadillos.
You can, I want to be an armadillo mater. That's what I'm going to do. Actually, they don't mate. You have to jerk it off and then impregnate it. So I'm going to be an armadillo. called a dillo whacker. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a dillo whacker. They call them.
I wonder if that exists. Is there a breeder for armadillos?
There has to be. I'm sure there is. Just so people could have them in their house, sitting on top of their TVs, like in those old time big giant square ones.
You don't just hit that and then stuff it, right? You've got to. You don't hit it with their car and then be like, well, we got an end table decoration. You got to make those, right?
There's some taxidermy involved there. I assume some lacquer at least put on there, something.
Just spray paint it.
Yes, I don't know what it is.
Clear coat that bastard.
Some kind of epoxy is involved. I'm not sure how it works. But
just dip it in a clear coat and call it a day.
There we go. Here you go.
Seals in all the rotten smell.
Except for the very tip of the tail where I had my fingers. So you're going to have to watch out for that.
Right.
It's his Achilles heel.
Clear coated, his asshole sealed so the smell don't leak out.
Shut tight. Let me tell you something, boy. Like a barn door. Shut. Like a barn door in a nice house.
Like a barn door shut a little loose.
A little loose, but it'll keep it in there. Don't you worry.
Don't trust it, but it looks good.
Things to do in this town is the Quilting Festival.
Oh, yes.
They have a very large quilting festival here. Okay. The Ogallala Quilters Society Festival.
Whatever the fuck.
Well, I'll tell you what it is here. Well, it's a 3-day event, the Quilt Festival. This is from the website.
Everything
Listen to this.
Takes so much time.
The excitement here.
Yeah.
The Quilt Festival is a 3-day event filled with competition.
Oh.
Competitive quilting? That's a wow. Fuck you, Edna. Just,
they got sharp shit.
You call that a stitch, you fucking whore? It's so weird.
Your hook looks like shit.
Yeah, totally. Banquets and quilting classes. In recent years, instructors from Texas, Arizona, and Arkansas have attended the festival to teach quilting classes. Arkansas is the heart of the quilt belt. We all know that. Everyone knows that. And any decent quilt comes from Arkansas. Quilt worth its salt is from Arkansas. It's supported by a grant from the Texas Commission of the Arts. So I guess so. The chairman of the quilt show also credits the community of Dimmitt for its support.
Really?
Because that's where it is. Quote, if Dimmitt didn't support the festival and show on such a large scale, it would be difficult for the Ogallala Society to accomplish its goals. More than 180 quilts were entered in 19 different categories in April 2004. I don't know why they pulled that.
I want to know the category so bad, James. How do you get to 19? Most square at some point? What do you do? Yeah.
The Quilters Society here, they claim that there are more than 19 million quilters in the United States, which seems high. That seems like a high amount. They say the average quilter spends about $600 a year on cotton. So they're very much, the cotton industry also supports this, obviously. And, they like cotton. She says, quote, we use cotton batting because it sticks. It grips.
Yeah, it does. That's the shit that's in between the squares, right? That's the batting?
I have no fucking
stuffing,
idea.
I guess? I don't know.
I think it's maybe the stitch. I don't know what's in a quilt. I've never bought a quilt. Is just something that
fucking square
has
together. Yeah, but you got to put that shit in the middle in between them so that it's like puffy.
Like insulation.
Yeah. It's the insulation of the blanket.
Okay.
It's that Pink Panther shit.
That's behind the drywall. Yeah. Yeah. Between the drywall and the outer. I get it.
That's it.
They do say that quilts tell our history. They are great historical documents. If someone gives you a quilt, it's because they love you.
Okay.
So there's that. You can do that. 3 days of people quilting. Sounds exciting. Either that or, and this is in there, one of their things to do, you can go an hour away to Amarillo, according to the website that tells you what to do, and visit the giant Texan guy. There's that big giant concrete guy with the hat, the Texan guy in Amarillo you drive by. He's 47 feet tall. Just a big cowboy.
I guess it makes sense, but I don't know what it is. I didn't know there was.
Yeah, you drive by. If you go on the 40, you drive by it. And
is it the guy that does that shit with the thumb? No, that's in Vegas.
That's in Vegas. But he looks like that guy. He looks like the Vegas guy, except he's made of stone and he's 47 feet tall. And it says that you should spend about an hour there staring at a fucking giant guy. I don't know. An hour. I don't know how long you need that, but whatever.
How much time do you have, Texas?
Goddamn. Crime rate in this town. Property crime, little bit high, about 10% high, but nothing to write home about. Pretty close to average, within margin of error.
Yeah.
Violent crime, though, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about half the national average.
Okay.
Little under half, actually. So pretty safe little town.
Right. Yeah.
Doing okay when it comes to that. So that said, let us go back to Halloween night.
What year?
1977.
Oh.
Which feels more Halloween-y for some reason, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
That's when horror movies thrived.
This is like, 78, I think, is when Halloween came out, or 79 Halloween came out.
That.
So, you know what I mean? This is the time you picture kids with bowl cuts, you know, with bad costumes,
Lots of
walking
people
around.
afraid of the dark. Yeah.
Yeah, walking around by themselves without their parents hovering over them and shit like that. Like, it's interesting. And this murder case, by the way, everybody, this was a painstaking thing to pick out a Halloween case. When we come to the holidays, I like to have like a Thanksgiving themed one, like to have a Christmas themed one.
Just makes it feel a little better.
Makes it feel fun, you know? So the Halloween one, you go back and you look for Halloween murders, and I was looking at all these different Halloween murders, and a lot of them obviously have been covered a lot. You know what I mean? There's one in Wisconsin that has just been covered so much because the guy was almost like the original Michael Myers, that guy. God. So been covered a lot, and it's, you know, kind of whatever. And it's a little girl, and it didn't really want to do that.
Oh,
so
that's a lot.
It's a lot, and there was a lot there. Then I found a murder case on Halloween night where a woman named Elvira was murdered. I swear on my fucking life. A woman named Elvira was murdered on Halloween night. I jumped from the couch.
This is great.
A terrible response to a murder, of course, but I jumped up and looked at Sarah and went, a woman named Elvira was murdered on Halloween. And she was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And then I looked into it further, and it wasn't really kind of up our alley. It was more like her nephew was in a gang, and somebody shot through the door looking for the nephew and shot her while she was reading a book. So I'm like, well, that's not spooky and creepy and scary. That's not Halloween. So then I found this, which is really never talked about, never been on a show before. It's a really kind of a deep cut and a wild story. Let us go back October 31st, 1977, Halloween night. And we'll kind of catch you up to Halloween night and go up to there. We'll get with some people here. Okay. First, Loy Stone.
L-O-Y?
L-O-Y. Loy is his name. He's 48 years old, Loy. Loy was adopted right after he was born.
Okay.
So he's an adopted guy. His mom, from what I found in the records, seems like his mom died either during or shortly after childbirth.
Brutal.
And yeah, his dad was listed, but back then, some single guy in 1929 wasn't going to raise kids. If his wife died, he'd be like, well, give the kids away. You know, like, I don't know, send them with somebody who can take care of them. I got to be out on the farm. I'm a rancher.
7 of them, but listen, I don't know how to do it.
I'm a rancher. If they were cows, now I could raise them, but I don't know how to raise human children.
If you're hungry, go out in the yard like the cows.
I don't know.
What's wrong with you?
Graze. The Lord gave you the land to graze.
What
the hell's
Jesus.
Look how big the cows are. They grow huge.
The milkweed grew in. James eats salad out of the fucking yard. What's wrong with you?
I could make do. That's the thing. I'll make do. I'll pick through it and I'll make a salad.
Take some olive oil out in the yard and just sprinkle it.
Yeah, I'm a guinea from like rural barbarian stock. Like I can, I'll figure it out. I really will. I'll make a salad.
Milkweed's coming in nice, Daddy.
That's right. Give me some balsamic vinegar and I'll fucking make it work. I'm telling you right now. I swear to God.
I'll pick the rocks out of it.
I'll make it work. I'll eat that meteor and I'll make it delicious.
I'll Parmesan that fucking meteor.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of that food is. Artichokes are here because Italian people ate them and brought them. It's the only reason they were here.
For that.
Because look at what they are. Who would think to eat that? Who would see that growing and go, I bet you could eat that? No, everyone would go, shit, don't step on it. It looks pointy.
Looks like something you throw at somebody in a fight.
My grandmother would be like, I would put some breadcrumb and we make it good. Come on, we pick and make good.
I'll egg wash it. It'll be all right.
It's going to be delicious. So we'll make it work.
Thank fuck for you.
We gave you artichokes. So so mom's dead, from what I saw there. He's named after his adopted dad, who is Loy Spot Lane.
Yeah.
They call him Stone. I'm sorry. Loy Spot Stone.
Oh.
So they call him Spot Stone is what his name is, and his son is Loy Stone, and he's Loy Stone. His mom's name is Ruby Stone, and we'll talk about her because she's still alive when we catch up with our story and living on the property, and is a
kind of a big part of the story. So it's interesting here.
Ruby Stone. That's fascinating.
Ruby Stone.
She married into a stone family named after like a stone. That's fascinating.
Isn't it wild? Ruby Stone. I believe her maiden name was Lust. Wow. Which is amazing. I believe it was Ruby Lust, which
that's
is
my kind of gal.
That is like that back then. That's
party.
You got to be in like burlesque or something if your name is Ruby Lust.
She wears a corset on her day off.
That's too much. Like if she was in the movies, they'd make her like calm it down a little bit. They'd be like, "You got to tone that down. It's a little too sexy."
That's awesome. What a name.
So Now Loy is a big 6'3", 280-pound, burly, bearded rancher.
That's a Texan right there.
Guy, big old Texan, drives a giant boss hog level Buick.
Hell yeah.
Like a 70s, as big as a boat. License plate, Wicca 1.
Wicca? What?
Wicca.
Really?
Oh, they're Wiccans, these people. Yeah. You know,
he's a fucking warlock?
Well, you don't think a 280-pound burly West Texas bearded Buick driving fucking guy would be a Wiccan? Him and his wife? You'd be fucking wrong, Jimmy. I'm telling you.
Picture that guy going out of his way to adopt children. What a sweetheart!
How weird is this? Oh, he's the adopted one. He's the one who is adopted, Loy.
That's the son?
This is the son.
That's what he's into.
Not Spot. This is Loy Jr. here.
Holy
Loy Stone
shit.
Jr. Yeah, when we catch up with him in the 70s. Yeah, big, giant, burly Texan driving the Boss Hog Buick with Wicca, WICCA 1 on his license plate. He is married to a woman named Louise, and she's 47, year younger than him, and they've been married for 29 years. Okay. They have had a wonderful marriage from all accounts. They get along terrific. They do things together. They love each other. Everything's fine with the marriage. From what I got from a newspaper article, they are, quote, both from respected panhandle families, end quote. So
that doesn't go together.
No, what that says, but that's from a newspaper. I'm quoting that. Just going to give a quote from the Times.
That is sweet and sour right there.
It's
Maybe
interesting.
It does go together.
Among the other panhandlers, they're got to respect somebody, right?
He's the best duct taper in town.
That's what I mean. Among the who's there. So they have two daughters together over the time, Denise and Sharon, and they grow up just fine, and everybody does well, and everything's fine. He describes himself, Loy, as an oil field brat.
Oh,
so his parents have 300 acres that he lived on. 300 acres of West Texas land it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Post Dust Bowl. It's an impressive thing. That was in 1943. His family moved into this area, and it was grain and cotton farms. So 300 acres is a good amount.
The hardest thing to get out of the earth, too.
Oh, God, yeah. Those are very difficult work.
You need machines to make that happen.
That's tough stuff there, and especially when you add in again the West Texas sun and humidity,
unbelievable,
and heat, and just searing.
Even operating the machine sucks.
Oh God, it's gonna get hot after a minute, and there's more heat coming off of It's fucking horrible. So Louise grew up in the area in Castro County as well. Attended Dimmitt High School in Dimmitt. She also came from like an agricultural family. Okay. They both went to the local Baptist church and all that sort of thing. Both of them were kind of outside the box thinkers for the time. I mean, back then in the 40s in West Texas, you went to church and then you did your job and that was it. There was no nobody was fucking questioning a lot of things, and they were like kind of social outsiders because they were the ones going like, that sounds kind of silly when they go to church. Like, I don't know if I believe all of this shit, and everybody seems a little too into this. And they were like
fucking smiles.
Yeah, they were the comedians of the group. Like, are we really going along and just doing this? This seems weird,
right? And a whale ate him. All right.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. You lost me there.
Yeah.
So they met in high school, knew each other, families knew each other. He ends up enlisting in the Navy at the time because this was post-World War II. Yeah. So because he would have been 18 in 47, so that's right after the war. joining the Army was still considered like like an adventure back then. You know what I mean? So he joins the Navy, and then they get married after he's done serving his time in the Navy. Okay. They both attend college as well.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're educated, very intelligent, smart people. They both attend West Texas State University, which is if you're a wrestling fan, that's where a ton of crazy wrestlers all played football at West Texas State. It was
really?
Oh my God, famous for it. Tons of them. Bruiser Brody.
Oh, really?
There's about probably a good dozen guys who were major
from Bruiser's time
wrestling stars from the 70s and 80s who played on the West Texas football team in the early 60s. Is a big deal there. It's now West Texas A&M. And she earned a BS in history, and he got a BS in biology and an MA in counseling.
What?
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
And he wasn't real interested in farming. Not really what they were into, because They just weren't into it, so they leased their land to neighboring farmers who would, they just got an income from it.
There you go.
Smart on them. Brilliant. If they don't want to do it. Lloyd taught high school for a little while. He was kind of feeling around, looking for himself, trying to find himself, and farming wasn't where he wanted to be. Taught high school for a little bit, and then he also maintained the whole time a small counseling practice as well, because he's got the degree in counseling. Right. So he's they're trying to figure this all out, but still, these aren't like normal West Texas.
What an interesting
goals.
Man.
Yeah, he's a very interesting guy, and they both get way more interesting in a minute here. Louise worked as a commercial and industrial photographer, which is pretty interesting. Again, not the norm, and they were, and she also sold plastic irrigation pipe repair gear to cotton farmers.
Oh, smart move, yeah.
Which is a very lucrative business, I would assume, when there's
pipe
just
cutters and glue and pipes. Yeah, it's genius.
I can't imagine how many hundreds of miles of underground and above ground plastic piping for irrigation there is there.
And that shit is a nightmare. If you don't know where it is, it's a nightmare to dig and find that again. Yeah, you just have to wait until it breaks to fix it.
Yeah, a metal detector isn't going to help you there, so that kind of sucks. That's kind of shitty. So, well, it looks like it's flooding here.
Yeah, I guess
dig a giant hole. Dig about a 6-foot radius of there. See what happens. Because water comes up weird sometimes too, and it takes a different path.
Least resistance. It's crazy.
It's fucking annoying. So, Louise is doing that. They do, though, spend much of their time on the study of the paranormal, reincarnation, psychic development, and things along that line. They're very into that sort of shit.
The most non-Texan Texan ever. This is great.
And you look at him and you just go, geez, hello, Johnny Texas. I mean, describing him, it sounds like his belt buckle's bigger than my head. Just a giant buckle and, boots out to the moon and a hat that you could just...
The pointiest of pointy boots.
Yeah. Oh, a hat you could keep like a dozen puppies in. One of those. You had puppies to adopt, just bring them in the hat. A big one.
Just in case a puppy mill opens and the dogs get free, I can save them all.
I save them in my hat. And... he's doing all that, looking like that, and he's like, I want to talk to you about psychic development and the paranormal and a little bit about reincarnation I've been thinking about now, because it's important to me now.
Fascinating.
So, they raised their 2 daughters, and they end up moving to Amarillo, which is like the closest city, if you want to call it that, there. So they move there, and they're doing fine. Now, by the time the 70s come around, they're quite into Wicca by then. Mm-hmm. And it's heard around town, and they describe themselves as and this is them speaking. I don't know. This isn't my area of expertise, obviously, so I'm just going to go on self-reporting here like a therapist. So they're the self-described Flamen and Flamenca, which is the keepers of the flame, they say, at the Church of Arianhu. Arianhu. Arianhu.
So they've got like a board seat. They're like commissioners of this.
Well, it's one of 5. That church is one of 5 chartered branches of Wicca, which they say in the newspaper here, but we don't know exactly what the whole structure of the thing is. This is what the newspaper's telling the West Texans in 1977 here. So it's known to kind of everybody. They call that their coven, that church, and all that sort of shit here. There's no organized religious services, but from time to time they have like meetings and gatherings, and they hang out and discuss things. So now
punch and pie. Go on. Sorry.
Punch and pie. Yeah. Punch and pie. Now Lloyd says
discussions of weird shit.
Just weird stuff. Well, Lloyd said he became interested in mysticism at 8 years of age. So
as children do.
In 1937 in West Texas, there wasn't a whole lot of little kids like, I'm interested in mysticism, Mom. Yeah. They'd be like, the fuck are you talking about? Feed the chickens. Shut up. Go outside.
I don't think he knew it was mysticism. I think he was just like, what if there was magic?
Yeah.
Like an 8-year-old does.
He just read Merlin and he was like,
I like him the best in this story.
Well, no, it gets weirder. Don't worry. He says, this is a quote from Loy, a friend of my dad's, a 32nd degree Mason. So now we're talking, we're getting into the Masons, which is secret society stuff, and he's a 32nd degree one, which I don't know if that's good or not.
I imagine that's a lot of time invested.
Is it, or is it, do you have to get to first degree, or is that when you start? Like, how does the scale go? Yeah. Do you start at like 100 and then you work your way down to 1? Is he that far in, or is he like, is there only 40 of them and you work your way up? And he said that he had been to the Near East, which is what they used to call like North Africa. That used to be the Near East as opposed to the Middle East. The Near East, and started telling me stuff about Egyptian mysticism. It intrigued me. So, yeah, his dad's friend went over there for whatever and got some, books or some shit, heard like local legends and brought it home. And this kid was like...
Or he smoked weed in Cairo. You know what I mean?
He smoked some hash out in Cairo.
Who knows what he did?
Either way, he comes and tells this kid who... in 37, we're talking the radio is your only goddamn link to radio, and church are your links to the outside. Right. There's no TV. There's no internet. There's not a lot going on in West Texas there. And it's very kind of rural. And so this kind of stuff interested him. And the Stones, both of them, Louise and Loy, also study hypnosis and ESP. And they did this from way back in the day. In 1961, they joined the American Society for Psychical Research.
Oh, boy.
So they're just anything that's like kind of outside the box of this is what's before us, is what we see. Anything like that they're into, and they want to know more about.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of it is they're just kind of intelligent and bored, is what it seems like, and they don't know where else to go with it.
That's probably exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I'm not saying people are bored, that's why they do that. If you're into it, good for you. Right. I don't care, but I mean, these people then, there wasn't a lot else to do, so I feel like...
And a high IQ in West Texas. Yeah. Look, a high IQ is rare in the first place. And to be in a small town, there are probably some of the more advanced thinkers there. And eventually you just don't think like everybody else does.
Yeah. I bet the percentage of high IQ people is probably the same, anywhere. But it's the people who hide it, that kind of thing. Also, a lot of people in West Texas, if you were like smart, that's not really a... Right. You'd rather be good at football. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that is more valuable to you in West Texas back then, growing up as a kid anyway, not as an adult, obviously, but as a kid, you might see that as, a hindrance. They're going to call me names if I'm too smart.
They're going to make fun of me because I know things.
Oh, it was like that in school when I went to school.
Fuck
even.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's like that now from what I gather from my kids, but like,
you're right. You know what? The kid that knows things is like very popular now, it seems like.
Yeah. When we were kids, like you'd have to hide that you were smart. Like, right. You know what I'm saying?
I had a gifted class that I would have to go to, and people would ask me where I was
going. You would have to go
to? Well, they enroll. I don't know. I didn't choose it. My mom, the school talked to my mom.
It, though.
Yeah,
you didn't have to. It's not like you made it sound like a sentence, like you were bad and they sent you there. They sent you to a class.
So I went to the gifted class for math and shit. And
sell yourself short.
And when I left class, people would ask me where I was going, and I would tell them that I had difficulties, so I was going to, and they'd make fun of me for being dumb. But I'd rather be made fun of for being dumb than the smart kid.
Yeah, back then it was tough, man.
Yeah.
For those kids, it really was.
The nerd got the shit kicked out of him. So did the dummy. I got the shit kicked out of me too. But
yeah, I guess it was.
I think.
I guess both sides of the spectrum are going to get it pretty good, and that's what it is, and that's what society is. They want you. Everybody wants, unless you're in the main group unless you're in the main herd, you're there. Right. And
even in the main herd, it's still crabs in a bucket, no matter what fucking genre or machine that you're in. They're all still trying to keep you in the same fucking group as them.
So now they were both raised Christian and conservative, that they said that what kind of got them into the occult was that, because they were like, well, we think that's not true, so what else is out there? Yeah. They joined Mensa as well, both of them.
Brilliant.
So high IQs again. He got his bachelor's in science and master's in education and counseling, like I said, and he ended up getting a doctorate degree in Celtic witchcraft.
What?
From the International School of Wicca in New Bern, North Carolina.
I had no idea that existed.
Yeah, I didn't either. So he also, what was he saying? Oh, he said that the first guy talking about from the Near East there, his dad's friend, intrigued him. Then Bridie Murphy, I don't know who that is, and it's arguments favoring reincarnation, and they believed in that. And next was Edgar Cayce, he says, who is the godfather of psychic religion and a proponent of clairvoyance. Mm-hmm. So that's when they started getting into all that. Before Wicca, they didn't even know it existed. Louise says, quote, neither of us knew anything about the Wicca religion. I didn't even know it was a religion. So
yeah, I guess I didn't know it was an actual religion. I know it's a thing people do, right?
Yeah, I guess. Anything's kind of a religion if you're doing it, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
The definition of religion can be very, I guess, loose. I don't fucking know. Whatever you want it to be, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how dogmatic you want to be about that.
Recycling can be a religion, I suppose.
I guess. Yeah, anything could be. So she says, though, for this area, our religion is pretty far out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not normal around there, quote unquote normal. So definitely going against the herd here. They said they practiced Wicca discreetly since they joined the church. They joined the church in about 69. They said they started getting interested in it, 70, around that area, which is when a lot of people were getting interested in other different ideas and shit like that. That was very common then, obviously. So they said, though, there was nobody ever gave them any shit about it because they did it discreetly. So they looked the part. They look like, the epitome of West Texas. She's got like a beehive hairdo and a dress on, and he looks like, a sheriff somewhere. They look the part. Yeah. So you wouldn't look at him and go, look at these freaks. Nobody would do that back in the day. He said that we felt if people knew anything about the religion, there would not be conflicts or problems. Education would remove prejudice. Well, we know that's not true in society. That just people go, I don't want to hear that. It wasn't to convince anybody that it was the way to go, but there is so much misinformation. He said that the whole basis of Wicca is to try to be in harmony with nature, to understand or use forces at work in a constructive manner. Our creed is this: harm none, do what you will. That's our 10 commandments.
Those are 2.
That's 2. I said that's all of them right there.
He could say 2.
Yep, those are our 2 commandments.
It's essentially, it's like Native American culture, really, is like, leave whatever for the next generation. Leave it as you found it, but, grow your corn and live.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's kind of just do as you do. It's kind of a hippie thing too. You know what I mean? Just, hey man, just do your thing. Don't bother. Don't hurt people. It's kind of one of those. So apparently they're talking about in the newspaper too. They said that, quote, this isn't from Loy, this is in the newspaper, quote, a group of believers will gather at an altar, often by moonlight, and try to enforce a motion to stop something harmful, to cure an illness or correct a bad deed. They say the Stones use props in their ceremonies, a special knife, a sword, candles, stained glass, and an altar, and robes, to, quote, to set a mental mood. Sometimes they work within a circle drawn on the floor. To them, it's no more unusual than the trappings and mysticism of Christianity, which witchcraft predates, they're saying. He says, the whole basis of Wicca is to try to be in harmony with nature. He just keeps saying that. He says, the craft doesn't believe in Satan as an individual or hell as a place. We believe each man creates his own devil, adversary, evil, and therefore creates his own hell. We don't believe God would do it. God is a creator, not a destroyer. So that's their pitch that they're giving you here.
Creed, sure.
So
their religion sounds fucking horny too.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Candles and shit.
Yeah, there's great. Definitely fucking going on there. I feel like booze would be okay.
Yeah,
you could throw some wine in there.
Not frowned upon. Not
be fun,
but whatever.
You'd probably burn one or two. I don't think they would mind. Oh, I thought we were into like Earth and shit. This is from the Earth. Fuck
thought we were having
here.
A good time.
Hey, all right. I don't know. So pre-Halloween. Now, this is the month leading up to this is October 1977, leading up to Halloween night. The United Earth Assembly, which is called a pagan conclave by the newspaper, It's essentially a gathering of all different Wiccan and type of that sort of like a cult believing type shit. They're bringing all that in to have like a conference.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in West Texas, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Loy Stone goes on television in Amarillo to promote this event.
Wow.
Yeah, now no one knew shit about Loy and didn't give a shit before that. And then he goes on television in Amarillo and he says all those things I just told you. Look, we believe in this and that, and the mysticism of that, and all the stuff I told you, which we went, that sounds reasonable. He said that on Amarillo in Texas, and they just went, I didn't hear Jesus' name anywhere in there.
Whole bunch of people went, Big Ed, get in here and listen to this.
Absolutely. Loy became a very well-known guy in West Texas very quickly. This was 2 weeks before Halloween. It was an Amarillo television studio, and their television appearance was just all anybody talked about was, there's witches out there on Easter Road. There's witches, because that's the road they live on. That family, there's witches. And then it spread to devil worshippers, and there's stuff going on. And once all these rumors trickle down to high school, because they start with all the adults in town that saw this on the news and all this, and it trickles down, and then they say, oh, you stay away from that one house. There's devil worshiping, people. It turns into there's devil worshippers that do crazy rituals, and it's a haunted house out there.
Oh, boy.
It's a haunted house full of devil worshipping witches who do rituals that you can watch on Halloween. That was what all the teenagers thought. So this turns into a pilgrimage for teenagers to drive by their house and harass them. These are Dazed and Confused.
Yep.
That you've seen Dazed and Confused. This is a year later.
Right.
Dazed and all the guys in the pickup truck. Picture those guys constantly driving by the house, yelling,
Affleck screaming horrible shit at you.
Shooting guns off near their house, throwing beer cans at the house, shooting on purpose, placing their trucks to shoot gravel at them into the house and shit like that, yelling things, vandalizing things. It becomes like a thing that's happening every day for them right after that. And it's all teenagers.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, it's fucked up, and it's like we said, it's total Dazed and Confused. Like they're there to paddle everybody. It's one of those things.
Right, and fuck you in their lawn.
Yeah, with their tires as they burn it into it. So it really becomes a big deal here. The students in Hereford, which is north of Dimmitt, they're everywhere there. He said that he's tasked with organizing Samhain seminars, which are mini conventions with classes and workshops that are going to be held in a hotel over the long weekend. It is to be held at the Howard Johnson East on the Interstate 40 in Amarillo, which is a very mystical place, obviously.
Shitloads of trucks in the parking lot, and that's just a
idling
bunch of over-the-road truckers.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. So they said they chose Amarillo because you think, why the fuck would you choose Amarillo for your Wiccan conference? It doesn't seem like
James.
the most accepting place. Well, no, it's because it's roughly the same distance between Dallas and Albuquerque. It's like the middle spot. Remember I said it was 4 hours this way, 4 hours that way. So it's the middle spot, and also somewhere else, too, it's driving distance. Oklahoma City, they said you could drive, so it's like a same distance to a bunch of different places. And El Paso, you can drive up. So
the Hojo and Amarillo.
Hojo and Amarillo.
My God, it's central to everybody.
That is wild, man. So they said normally they would celebrate Halloween by inviting other believers in the Church of Wicca to their home for a ceremony marking the beginning of the Wicca year.
Okay.
Halloween there.
That's New Year's for them, huh?
That's their New Year. That's what he's saying anyway. That's what the newspaper's saying. And they decided this year, though, because of all the hubbub, to spend it alone and not have a big party, and then have teenagers coming over, firing guns off and throwing full beer cans at them. So now Ruby Stone, Loy's mother, she's elderly, obviously, at this point in time. She's about 80 years old. She lives on the property as well. Okay. The problem with the teenagers driving, it's not so much Loy's house, because I've seen a picture of it. It's there's like a dusty road with gravel and shit, and off to the right is the house, the way you come from town.
Right.
And off to the right is the house, and the house is set back from the road. There's some, like West Texas shrubbery there, whatever those trees are, the ones that are in Phoenix yards that shit stuff all over your. Yeah, the mesquite, that's got that in front of the house, and then there's a pump house next to it to the right, and so it all kind of sits back from the road, but right at the road, like right at the road, 2 feet off the road, is a smaller little house that Ruby Stone lives in. That's her house. Mm-hmm. So she's getting the brunt of all of this. The house was...
They have no idea what they're doing because they just assume.
They just assume. They don't know it's an old lady living in this house, so that they're scaring the shit out of a very old lady. Like, I mean, they're throwing beer cans. The house was hit with shotgun blast at one point.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, not like a window or anything. It was just to scare them or whatever. Right. But I mean, the house was hit with a shotgun blast. So there's a lot of tension as we lead up to Halloween. And the Stones are kind of wishing maybe they wish they wouldn't have got on TV with this whole deal.
Yeah, sometimes promotion is not a good thing.
They really didn't think that this would be the reaction. They didn't think that. They thought that people might think they're weird, or if they went to the store, they might give them a side eye or some shit like that. But they didn't think that it would become, hey, let's go out to their house and fucking, like, it would become like a teenager hangout zone to go fuck with these people. They just never even thought of that as an option.
Is that really how far back we are that was a thing that wasn't happening? You know what I mean? Haven't they?
Yeah.
They lived in the South. Don't they know that challenging the status quo down there doesn't go well?
Yeah. Well, they thought, though, they're like kind of so ingrained in the community, and everybody knows who they are and knows that they're, they know they're normal people. They say, I see Loy at the store all the time. His beard's as big as mine. Like, I don't see his belt buckle's the same size as mine. I don't see a problem with it. That's what everybody thinks. So they thought that, like I said, they'd go to the post office and people would be like, oh, that's the one I saw on TV saying there's a witch. But they didn't think like teenagers would make it like a rite of passage to go harass them. Like they never thought that was the thing. There's so many disturbances that the sheriff is out there all the time.
Yeah.
So constantly, and Sheriff Martin's there, and he ends up actually at one point taking a bunch of students into custody, a bunch of high school students, for momentarily to give them a good talking to.
Yeah.
Said he gave them, quote, a stiff lecture.
Yeah.
Stiff lecture. You let them know. And one of them was fined $100 for fleeing an officer.
Oh.
One of them ran into the West Texas prairie land for some reason. I'm going to hide in the cotton. I'll just lay down flat.
High cotton. Thank God it's high. I can hide in it.
I'll just lay down flat, and the police ain't going to see me now. So the cars and pickups driving by, honking, shouting obscenities, throwing bottles and cans, racing in and out of the whole thing. They would shoot rocks into the yard at the houses as they drove by. One gunshot, like I said. So one of the local fathers who was interviewed here with teenage kids, he said that, he feels bad that it's carloads of kids are fucking with these people. He said, quote, the kids think they have a haunted house out there. He said, I told my boy not to go out there, but he did it anyway. Mm-hmm. Everybody does it. They just keep doing it. So much so that they start keeping a calendar and the Stones do, and start notating the different incidents that happen, because they keep having to report the shit to police. They keep doing it. So they have a calendar on the wall here. It's a promotional calendar from the Rexall drugstore near Dimmitt.
Yeah.
Or Dimmitt, sorry.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on until we hit the TV station, until we hit the advertisement for this whatever, the gathering here. Right. Then all of a sudden, Sunday, October 2nd is written, quote, car and yard several times. On Sunday, October 9th, it says, quote, 2 to 4 a.m. harassment of mom. So they were waking an 80-something-year-old lady up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
For 2 hours.
That sucks, man.
Jesus.
And I was a shithead teenager. I did dumb shit. It just sucks don't fuck with old ladies, man.
I didn't target a family and just fucking make their life hell at home. That's crazy.
I sold drugs. That's much more efficient use of my time.
Maybe that's why I didn't do it, because I had weed in my bag.
Yeah, I'm not going to go do dumb shit.
Police interaction.
I was trying to keep a low profile. Right. Are you kidding me? I kept my stereo down and shit because I was like, I have drugs in my car.
They're fucking with an old lady for 2 hours?
Yeah, somebody with their bass tubes can get pulled over. I'm not doing it. So 2 to 4, harassment of mom. On the 10th and 11th, they simply wrote harassment. Mm-hmm. On Friday, the 14th, they said per S gun, which means purchased shotgun.
Oh.
Per S gun. Yeah, they purchased a shotgun. Mm-hmm. As we'll talk about, they have a shotgun, but it's very rusty and old, and they're not big on shooting. That's not their thing.
Cast a spell and make that fire.
Yeah. Then it says, quote, harassment, big S, call for red M stakeout. So, I don't know what that means. I think the sheriff probably called the sheriff and asked him to stay, some shit like that. So, harassment, though. Friday, the 21st of October, some harassment, small, 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. It's just a lot of harassment here. She writes her friends. She's writing her friends about it. Basically, anyone that talks to Louise and Loy at this point, that's all they're talking about, is that they're constantly being harassed. They can't sleep at night. There's kids coming and fucking with them all hours of the night. They're keeping mom up, all this type of shit. So it's rough. She's 77 years old, Ruby Stone. So, that's rough. Even, like I said, hit by a shotgun blast, everything. There's no notations on the 29th and 30th of October. So either there's more harassment than they want to write down, or everyone's saving it up for Halloween night. Because Halloween night comes around, October 31st, 1977, and it is a fucking shit show out there. It's a circus. I mean, it is the thing to do that night. Like if there was a big, haunted cornfield or some shit, that all the kids, what we're all doing is driving to the haunted devil worship house tonight.
And fucking
everybody's doing it. Well, they want to see some stuff. They said tonight's when they're going to get to see some stuff.
But I think they're going to see like a green circle cloud over the house or something.
They think there's going to be like rituals and sacrifices and shit. So they want to go out there and, quote, catch a ritual. That's what they're doing. So they want to go catch them in the act of a ritual. And it's a haunted house and maybe we'll see ghosts. And that's what they're doing.
Watching hee-haw. Fuck out of here.
That's exactly what it is. It's so fucking, he's like reading a book on Egyptian mysticism. He's like, what's happening?
He's reading about pharaohs while he's watching hee-haw, and these kids are doing burnouts in his front yard.
Yeah, it's true. The high school has a little under 500 students in it, and they're all pretty much talking about this. Wow. They're talking about doing it. And it's for kids from Dimmitt. There's kids from Hereford. There's kids from everywhere. Hereford.
Assholes far and wide are coming to do this to them.
Yep. They said, quote, they thought they'd see witches ceremony or some devil worship. They wanted to see something. So dusk comes around. Mm-hmm. At dusk, it is like fucking Field of Dreams are lined up down the road. And it's a rural, flat Texas area. So you can see people coming forever. And they don't normally drive down this deserted, rural fucking Easter road in the middle of nowhere, except when they're coming to fuck with them. So they're coming left and right, kids, everywhere, all over the place. Loy Stone calls the police to complain about them. This will happen 3 or 4 more times tonight. They'll have to call the sheriff's department to come back out and shoo people away here. One of the calls was given to a Deputy Martin who was headed east. And the call was given to him, but the sheriff decided that he would turn around and come back too because he knew about all the teenager shit that was happening. Yeah. So you're going to get the sheriff coming and other cops coming and going too over the course of the night. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now,
this hero bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Here, near the Stones' house, the Deputy Martin encountered a carload of kids, obviously, and it just kept happening. Now, I'm going to read you this straight from a newspaper because I love the way they set the scene. Later on, this is the Martin talking about this, Deputy Martin. Quote, "The phone rang about 7:30 p.m., Martin recalled, sitting in his office, his booted feet propped on a wooden desk, a wide-brimmed straw hat tilted back from his broad face." Is this like
just quintessential Texas?
What the fuck is this stereotype? This, if you wrote that in a screenplay, someone would go, I mean, you know, that's a little on the nose, don't you think?
Nobody's going to think that's real.
Make him a little different. He said, "We'd received similar complaints a couple weeks before, and I'd gone out there and found a bunch of kids from Hereford. I gave them a stiff lecture about coming into another county and harassing people. You stay in your own county and harass people. You harass
beach community, you gold-bricking son of a bitch."
You son of a bitch. Get the hell out of here, goddammit. He said, "After I got the Stones call, I drove out and saw a carload of kids. I stopped them and told them to go home and leave these people alone. Then I went on to the house. There didn't seem to be anything amiss." Now, the sheriff also stopped people, and he said, "I stopped them. They heard there were witches. I told them, don't come back down here, and I turned them loose, and they went home." So, now that Martin ended up coming over again after that and said he shone his car lights into the driveway, and he said, quote, "I couldn't see nobody there or nothing going on. I backed out and went west." So whenever there's a call coming in, whoever's out there will just come and stop by. You might get one cop stopping by and another one coming 10 minutes later because he didn't know the one already came. Okay. And they have a poor radio system in this town.
And who knows? Texas people are just people of very few words. They say what they're going to do, and then they go do it.
It's true. But here, I don't even know I don't know what the deal is here. So at the sheriff's dispatch desk, which also dispatches the Dimmitt police as well, you know, it's all in one here. We're keeping it local.
Keep it tight.
The dispatcher, Gene Stroud, who's only 21 years old here, they say that he failed to meet the sheriff's minimum procedures, and they asked him about record keeping, and he said, quote, "Well, the records consist of just whatever we write down on the log. But on this one, we have a big scratch pad underneath it, and I got into a habit of writing on it, and we can't find that piece of paper that came off of that log that night.
What?
They had an official log.
A Post-it pad?
Yeah, they had an official log that they were supposed to log it into. But, I mean, rather than just, it's kind of like doing a crossword and pen at that point. Yeah. Are we going to report everything in the official log? So they have a scratch pad for shit they toss, probably.
And the glue got real loose on it, so we lost that one.
Lost that one, and this will come in handy. We could use all of this documentation later on because someone's going to end up fucking dead here. So it's a problem. The sheriff's department didn't record audio traffic between the dispatcher and units in the field either. Mm-hmm. So you don't have those dispatch recordings. They don't record any of that shit here. None
Just
of it.
The shit chatter on the radio. Nobody records anything.
Nope. I don't know if that was like procedure in the 70s not to record it or not. I know by the 80s in the David Simon homicide book, there's a big case with a police shooting where the recordings of the back and forth is a huge part of it. So I know they did it at least by 88 in Baltimore, but I don't know about West Texas when that came in. I don't know if they just started that.
Mad reckless not to keep track of what people are saying on shit on people.
Yeah.
Grant, let's say, all right, they're cops, whatever, but they've got guns. Let's keep track of every word said by those people.
Well, yeah. Well, plus if things come up later in court, you want to have records of them. Right. And not only that, you have, like I said, the scratch pad, they're throwing shit out. They just have a very general, attitude of nothing big's gonna happen. It's fine.
He's a cop. Inherently trust him.
I just just more like something happens. We'll figure it out. Ain't no big deal. Nothing big's gonna happen. Not like anybody's gonna die or nothing.
All right.
So that night we're getting into breaking it into minutes now. Mm-hmm. So Halloween night, 7:15 to 7:20 p.m. Louise Stone said that Ruby Stone calls the house from her house and said that there's a vehicle in the yard outside my house here. So can you come out and shoo him away? So 7:20, Louise Stone says, quote, pickup and car stopped in front of our house and started yelling and honking, which they're used to. 2 cars there. 7:30 p.m., Louise Stone does this. One of the Stones calls the sheriff's office, and also Fred Moulton, who's a deputy who they were friends with. Okay. And he was at home, so they called him at home. He tells them, though, can't help you. I just quit my job today, as a matter of fact.
This was drunk as fuck.
Literally my last day on the job. So if you got me last night, could have helped you. Today, tough shit. So he's like, fuck. So they notate that the visits continue, quote, about every 10 to 20 minutes.
That's insane.
Just constantly.
You can't do that to people. Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's fucking nuts. So about 8 p.m., Sheriff Martin tells the dispatcher that he will respond to the Stones' home. He's at least 15 miles away, but there's no traffic, and obviously he can drive as fast as he wants. All these roads are straight as shit.
Yeah.
And you can, if you're the sheriff, you can drive 110 miles an hour and get there quickly.
Turn the lights on. Go.
Yeah, he does, though, stop briefly on the way there to talk to a carload of teens coming from the direction of the house on the way in. And he notes their names and license plates, but he lost his notes. So doesn't know anything there. So 8:10 p.m., Louise Stone calls to see why no sheriff's car has come in response to her previous fucking call. Where is everybody? Immediately after that, Sheriff Martin radios to say that he just sent the carload of kids home. So he's right down the road when that happens. Yeah. So you're putting this all together. Yep. She calls, where is he? He's talking to the kids that were leaving the house then.
Right.
Whatever, calling in, saying that. Now, about 8:20 p.m., this is Sheriff Martin's estimate of when he left the Stones' residence. He said he shined his bright lights into the trees, but he didn't see Lloyd or Luis or Loy or talk to them. He just shined his lights in the trees, make sure it was clear. He never exits his car. His wife, Thelma, is with him for some reason. Mm-hmm. He brought his wife to work with him, I guess, to drive around. Why not? And he drives about 8 miles, and then he gets another radio call. So it won't fucking stop for the sheriff and this whole night. Now, mind you, like I said, the sheriff is trying to remember what times there were. Nothing is recorded. Nothing's in the call logs in the department. That was all in the scratch pad that gets thrown away. And the sheriff takes no notes. So he doesn't even scribble down when here at 8:20. Nothing. He
it's the
just
best job in the
drives
world.
around.
You don't have to do a goddamn thing, nor do you have to record what you do.
No, he's like beginning of first season Stranger Things Hopper is what he is. Like beginning of the first season where he's just smoking and eating donuts and I don't fucking care what people are doing. I'm hungover. Like this is ridiculous.
Right, but you're also not Eminem and 8 Mile stamping fucking car parts. You're a police officer.
Yeah, get your shit
with
together.
Protecting the society. Let's keep track of what the fuck is happening.
I feel like nothing happens around here for such long stretches of periods of time that they're just not in the habit of proper procedure because it's like, we'll figure it out. You know, I once saw in Kitchen Nightmares, the British one, where Gordon Ramsay said, well, where do you put your orders? Like, how do you set them up for your expediting?
What you do.
And he goes, well, I just put them here on the counter because we usually don't get enough to even really make it so we have to have a system. And I think that's what's going on here.
This is a TV show, and you're about to get a shitload of orders.
You're about to get a system up your ass. Let's go. As I call you names, move it up.
Bend over because I'm about to swear at you while I jam these tickets right in your asshole.
And that's called giving you a system.
Right.
That's what I'm going to call that.
You donkey.
Teaching you a system. You muppet. So he never exits his car, which is just fucking insanity to me. He didn't even get out and go, everything fine? Now, next, there's some teenagers here. Okay, particular teenagers. There's a group in a red Ford pickup truck. It's a new truck that this kid has borrowed. I don't know if it's from his dad or whoever, but he borrowed it from somebody here. Yeah. I know he says it's not his, but he borrowed it. So one of the kids here is named Carlos Garza. He's 18 years old. He's lived in the area for about 3 years, and he had to drop out of high school halfway through the 11th grade to work. To make ends meet, for the family. Tough life. So he's at this moment a janitor at Plains Memorial Hospital. Yikes. That's what he does here. His family residence, though, is about a mile from the Stones' residence. And he has known these people, actually, because at times his family has bought eggs from Ruby Stone. Ruby Stone sells eggs. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the local people know them as they're the witch people that the old lady sells eggs that are good.
They got a lot of chickens to sacrifice because they make eggs.
Yeah, lots of eggs. So Garza here took his younger siblings trick-or-treating in Dimmitt, and then he went to a carnival. There was a Halloween carnival that night, which sounds so like a fucking...
Yeah, it's the most small-town shit, yeah.
It sounds like the alternate script to Halloween is what it is.
Right.
Like then he met the kids at the festival. Like it's such a standardized Halloween. You can see it, you can smell it. Yeah. So he takes them there, goes to this festival. There he bumps into a buddy of his named Arthur Herrera, who's also 18, and they start hanging out together. And while they're there, run into 3 girls from school that they know.
Hell yeah.
And when you're a teenager and you're out at this environment of a carnival, your goal is to run into girls, if you're with, that's it. So they run into 3 girls they know, which is, hey.
That's great odds.
They're all 15.
Oh, that's not good, but go on.
But I think they're sophomores. They'd be seniors. It's one of those deals. Everybody goes to the high school except for the kid who dropped out to work. So
should be illegal,
whatever.
Probably not.
Exactly. This is Texas fine. As long as you're gonna marry her, right?
Texas.
You're gonna marry her, right?
Texas, whatever.
All right then. As long as you marry her, it's all right. She'll skip math class to marry you now, but if this is just fooling around, I ain't having it. So the 3 young ladies they meet are Roxanne Casas. She's 15. Adriana Rangel, also 15, and Maria Trevino, also 15. Okay. So this truck here belongs to they end up with a nice truck because it belongs to Casa's father, Roxanne, the 15-year-old. This is what a cool dad this guy is.
3 15-year-old girls drove to the carnival in his truck? What happened?
No. They end up all hanging out with the boys. Yeah. They leave the carnival. The way I didn't realize this, the way they end up with the truck that I didn't know how they got is that's not the truck that he drove to the carnival. They take the 3 girls. They go to Roxanne Casas's house. The father says, your car's a piece of shit. If you guys are going to go drive around, I prefer you do it in my truck where it's safe. Which it's
child in case that I don't know.
Yep, kids that I don't know. Here, 3 years older, former dropout classmate of my daughter's, drive my truck all night around in the dark on Halloween, please.
If I'm going to facilitate you fucking my child, I'm going to do it in class.
It's going to be classy. I'm going to do it right, goddammit.
Jesus
so he said,
Christ.
He didn't want him to have car trouble and get stuck in the middle of nowhere. This is pre-cell phones. West Texas is rural. Car trouble is a big thing.
That's a selfish dad that will not compromise sleep tonight. I will not be waking up to come get you.
Nope. I am not going to get a fucking call at 1 a.m.
I'll be putting these miles on this truck anyway. No. Just take it.
They're going to call at 1 a.m. that you guys just walked to a gas station for the last 4 hours and now you need a ride. Not fucking doing it. It's not happening. That's hilarious. So,
unbelievable.
He's either the coolest or laziest father ever. We haven't figured it out yet.
Coolest
One of the
or dumbest? Could he be all of them?
I'm the coolest, laziest, dumbest dad around. No. Honestly, I think he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's just a sweetheart who's just trying not to be fucked with tonight.
Yeah, I really think that he said, I don't want the kids to break down while they're out there. I don't want my 15-year-old daughter walking through the Texas night. And, let's get any trusting. That's a nice thing.
You know, that's what it is. It's two guys
really
that grew up in shitty environments that trust is not a thing that we feel. So this is so foreign to understand somebody would possibly trust a fucking strange child
a strange
with my vehicle.
Child with a brand new truck. Brand new. Brand new red Ford pickup, which in Texas is like, diamonds piled on top of gold. So it's crazy. This is wild shit. Yeah, I would have never gone out with a girl whose dad was like, take my car. I had a piece of shit car. I picked plenty of girls up in it. None of the dads ever said, hold on, wait, here's my keys. I don't want you guys breaking down out there. So this is actually... We take it back. He's a very nice man.
He's amazing.
He's a sweet man and a good father who doesn't want his daughter to have to walk through the plains at night. So I like him. Eaten by armadillos.
So good to his daughter, in fact, that he will throw all the trust he has into this boy to drive something that's worth a lot of money.
It's fucking wild. So Arthur Herrera ends up driving. Okay. He ends up driving the truck. Adriana Rangel sitting next to him. Because there's 5 people in a pickup truck. Right. So you got to think about it that way. Roxanne's in the middle. And then Carlos is on the passenger side with Maria on his lap.
This is a single cab pickup truck.
It's 1977. There's no extended cab pickup trucks back then. There's
Nobody
the cab.
Gets in the bed?
There's a cab and a bed. Period.
5 children on a bench seat. This is amazing.
And if you're a teenage boy, you're like, no, squeeze in here. And he can sit on my lap. It's totally cool. Like, they don't come on. They're trying to get a butt rubbed on them, these kids.
Unbelievable.
So Arthur Herrera knew Adriana Rangel a little bit, and he barely knew Maria Trevino at all. And he never met Roxanne Casas till that night.
Wow.
So it wasn't even a good friend of hers that the dad has known for a couple years. And like, he's just the guy they met at the carnival because they're friends with Carlos.
Wow.
That's wild. Carlos's friend. That's crazy shit. So he said that they were all just going to go riding around at first. They also said they were going to go visit a pond that, quote, everybody goes to. And they said there they met a carload of more kids. One of them, Trevino's older brother, was there. Yeah. And Trevino's older brother was the one that said, hey, I know where the witch house is. There's a haunted devil worshiper house that we all know about. I know where it is. You want to follow me out there, and we'll go out there and fucking see what's going on. So they all go, right on, lead the way, pal. So that's how this ends up happening. These kids... driving there. Everybody's smooshed in. We've all done that as teenagers. I remember putting people in the trunk, for Christ's sake. People have ridden in the trunk of cars that I've seen. That's not safe.
We rode in pickup trucks in the bed of them all the time. And it was because it was a single cab, and we're not jamming 4 dudes in a single cab. We put 2 of us in the back.
No,
My
they
friend
didn't do
drives
that
a
here.
3 on the tree Ford doing burnouts on the fucking street corner at 3 in the morning. We're idiots.
No, this is
unbelievable.
This
The seating situation is blowing my mind more than the dad trusting a stranger to take his kid out.
That's and the way they have it too. Carlos and the girl sitting on top of him are turned in, so like his back is against the door, so he can't really see out of the passenger window.
Okay.
So the entrance to where the Stones live, their property is not very well lit. Although there is some light across the driveway from the light outside Ruby's house that kind of shines across, but then it's dark in back of that. So can you picture that?
Yeah.
A light, and then behind the beam of light, darkness behind, which even looks darker because it's behind a beam of light.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those deals. So the moon, which was 4 days past full, they said wasn't really going to give any light till later on in the night here because it's early.
Dimming out, right?
Exactly. So they said that that Garza ends up saying here. This is what he says. Now Garza's got the worst view, like we said, so he's looking kind of over his shoulder, if anything. He says, "Quote: I looked ahead of me, and there was a lady, an old lady in her 40s."
Fuck you, kid.
Fuck you, you little shitbag.
You worthless fuck. You're not even in your own vehicle.
You little prick, you. You little prick, you get over here. This picture, like,
I will slam your head into your friend's head.
An old lady in her 40s. So that's great.
Son of a
fucking
bitch.
Asshole. Little shit. Wearing a scarf, heavy jacket, and glasses, and carrying what he described as a long gun.
Yeah. Better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, when they pulled up, they'd all heard about the witch house and everything, but when they pulled up, Garza said that he turned to everybody and went, "This isn't the right place. This is the place where we buy eggs." He said, "We buy eggs here. Like, this isn't there's nothing weird going on here. The egg, like, no apparitions rise from the eggs when I crack them.
Right.
It's fine.
I don't even get 2 yolks out of these things.
No.
There's nothing weird here.
Not even ghost eggs. I got nothing coming out of here." So he said then the what he described as the old lady there came out, and he said that, quote, she started walking toward the pickup, and he said, "I pushed Maria down in the pickup. Roxanne started screaming. I pushed Maria down, then I ducked down, and somebody shot."
Oh.
He said then the lights of the pickup went off, and the next thing I remember, we were already headed toward town. So the lights of the pickup, by the way, after some research that was done here, it's one of those, the Fords back then had the pull thing for the lights. Remember those? Like a pull-out thing?
So when he went down, he bumped it?
He could have bumped it. The driver could have bumped it. Also, the driver, he's never driven this car before. Right. So he might have been looking for anything, the fucking thing, and hit this. Who the fuck knows in the panic of a gunshot in the dark somewhere you aren't doing, oh, Jesus Christ. So it gets a little bit crazy. He said the next thing I remember, we headed toward town. Now, the other car, like we said, the one Trevino's older brother was in, Emilio Sandoval Jr. was a passenger in that car, which had the one that kind of guided them out there. He said that he saw 2 shadows and that a woman's voice threatened him to get out of here or she'll shoot, and that he saw the Ford pickup head toward Dimmitt after that, or Dimmitt, whatever the fuck it's called. So this Herrera guy, he's a important witness, obviously, the driver. He ends up he says that he drove his pickup into the driveway past a concrete block well house. So he drove into the driveway. This wasn't out in front.
Right.
He said he was turning around and spraying gravel everywhere.
Fast, yeah.
Or he just gunned it to spray gravel.
Right, yeah.
And that's when he heard 2 blasts echoed from a shotgun.
Oh.
It's a lot of how many gunshots were fired thing here. One of them, he said, struck the bed of the truck. He said a second shattered the passenger window. This sent buckshot it hit Carlos and Maria, because they were the first ones by the door, giving them minor wounds, but buckshot went right into Roxanne Casas's right temple.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. They're going to take her to the hospital, obviously. Now, Louise says she overheard one of the passengers in the pickup say, quote, "If we light a fire, we could probably see them." So there's been a lot of threats of arson that have been documented, that they're going to burn their house down because they're witches and all this shit. Yeah. So they hear fire and they think that someone's going to burn their house down, is what she's saying. I'm just saying that's what she's saying. She said, "Then I heard a noise like a shot." This is what Louise says. "The truck started spinning its wheels and backed out. I stepped back into the trees where where Loy was standing with me. Later, I went up to our house, and Loy said he was going down to Mom's." So the sheriff arrives about 40 minutes after this goes down, obviously, because he's right on top of everything. Now, they go to the hospital here. They said that this is what one of the teenagers said. This is Trevino. She said, quote, "We saw that Roxanne had been shot, and we didn't know what to tell her parents," which is the most teenage thing anyone's ever said. She said, quote, "She was full of blood. There was just a bunch of blood coming out of the right side of her head."
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, so she said she says they headed straight for the hospital, which she said she noticed holes in the truck on the way to the hospital. The problem is they don't arrive at the hospital for almost an hour after this happens.
What?
Yeah, they don't get there for almost an hour. It's like between 45 and 50 minutes.
How far is the hospital?
Hospital is 8 miles away of straight roads.
That's all. So what did you do? Crawl?
So you could get there in a new truck in about 5 minutes, probably.
So fast. Yeah.
I mean, 5 minutes. There's no lights. There's no nothing. They're open Texas roads. Fucking gun it. If anyone gets behind you, go hospital. Fucking keep going. What are you doing?
Hold your hand out the window with blood all over it. They'll get it.
Yeah. Hang a fucking bloody teenager out the window. They'll understand. So, yeah, she gets there. The nurses find that she has a very severe head wound and no pulse as well. The upper back pellets with Maria Trevino, she's got a scar from it and everything, but they pull those out. Carlos Garza had some superficial pellet wounds to his head and neck, and Herrera and Adriana Rangel were unharmed.
How about that?
It's fucking crazy.
Shotguns are unbelievable weapons, man.
They're ridiculous. They really are.
So they're not consistent. Like the inconsistency is bananas, but that's why they're so scary, and that's why you run from them.
Yeah,
you don't know what the fuck that thing can do, and you don't know what it's loaded with.
You don't know what it's loaded with. It could be salt, could be fucking buckshot, birdshot. You have no idea.
Salt rock, slugs. You have no clue.
No clue what's coming at you there. They're very
rubber
scary
bullets
weapon.
too. You can hit people with fucking rubber pellets, and it's just so scary.
Or if you're Omar, pumpkin balls.
There you go.
So
and that's probably slugs, or it could be buckshot. Either way, that's fucking
I think it's big
dangerous.
Buckshot. I think it's big buckshot, like bigger buckshot is what I think it is. So I don't know, though. I don't know anything about it.
It will tear you apart.
Fuck yeah, it will. So the hospital, one of the things that's interesting, the cops don't write shit down, but the hospital tends to know when things happen.
Generally,
they have
pretty good
a log
system.
of things, and they actually keep things under a wrap. They know when people need medications.
Gordon
and shit.
Ramsay's been there,
He's been there a couple times. Their tickets are all up on the fucking slide, you know? That's table 4. Yeah, that's right. That's 4 veals. Exactly. So they arrived. They note that they arrived at 8:45 p.m. Here. Now they were at the house something like between 8 and 8:10 was when they were at the house. So it's back there. So they arrived at the Plains Memorial Hospital. It's in Dimmitt, and they said this is Mitzi Brockman, who is the charge nurse. They say they assisted her and a woman named Rosalie Neal, who's another nurse. And they were busy treating patients and summoning the on-call doctor as well, because the doctor wasn't even fucking there.
Wow.
They had to call the guy who was there. It's a small hospital. They said it was between 8 and 9 o'clock, somewhere around 8:45 or something like that. That's just a recollection off the top of her head. She says, all I know is it was dark, so it must have been It should have been probably between 8 and 9 o'clock. Well, here, and then she pulls out the record. It's 8:45 p.m.
Beautiful.
Isn't that amazing when you write shit down?
I think it was around. Wild? You know what? We'll consult actual paperwork. Tells us exactly when it was.
Crazy. Look, I have it written on a piece of fucking paper from that night, so it's there for eternity.
The facts do fix things. They do.
Then I saved it, too. I didn't throw it out afterwards. I also kept it with me. So 8:45 p.m., the hospital reports the arrival of the pickup truck and the occupants because they have to arrive. It's gunshot wounds. So they have to call the police immediately. The Dimmitt police chief, Joe Ben Mitchell, responds.
Hell yeah.
Joe Ben? The fuck kind of name is that?
It's a guy that just finished up an open mic gig.
Good God. They'll put anything after Joe.
Playing John Michael Montgomery tunes.
Yeah. I'm Joe Ben Mitchell. Check me on the country charts. Here's my next hit.
Yeah.
Here's my next hit, Bad at Paperwork. I don't like pens and no paper. My brain is the caper. It tells me all I need to know. Just fucking singing
Pens and paper hurt my fingers. No paper cuts for me. That's what this song's called. No paper cuts.
We both went to paper cuts. That's hilarious. The same exact time. Oh, man. So he photographs the truck, noting a hole in the right side of the pickup bed, and also noting that the glass in the passenger side door is shattered. And then I'm sure he, gets distracted by an armadillo and wanders off somewhere. Yeah. 8:55 p.m., Louise Stone calls again, because after this happened, the incident, she had called. Nobody showed up yet. Right. So she calls again. Remember, the sheriff is en route at this point. He talked to other teenagers who are leaving. This time calls again with an angrier tone. She said she's fed up with the harassment and demands that patrol cars come to her goddamn house fucking now. Yeah. Sheriff Martin says he's a few miles down the road and goes to the farm, like we said. And then shortly afterwards, so he went out there, ran into another carload of teenagers, shined his lights, and took the fuck off, even though a shooting just happened.
Wow.
So, because the Stones, when they called, didn't report a shooting. They just reported people there. And the teenagers who he ran into didn't report that somebody just got shot up there either.
So he has no idea that there's a bloody 15-year-old.
No clue that any of this is happening. So he shows up there, and shortly after he shows up and leaves, Chief Mitchell, then Joe Ben, he radios from the hospital that, quote, there's a shooting supposedly that took place at the Stones' house. Mm-hmm. Now the sheriff's like, well, I was just fucking there. I didn't see shit.
Ain't no shooting.
So Roxanne is pronounced dead at 9 o'clock, or a little before 9 o'clock. 15 years old, fucking dead. The haunted house. Ridiculous. So a nurse at that point phoned the police and told them, quote, we have a dead child here.
Yep.
That interested them a little bit, and that gets relayed to everybody. And the sheriff, though, requests backup from the highway patrol before going back to the Stones' house now. So sheriff's notified and everything like that. Fuck, man. By the way, sheriff says he came back to the house and talked to them after this at 8:30, which is absolutely not true. He's not even notified to go back there till 9 o'clock. So his... Again, record keeping is as good as his fucking memory. Terrible. So this obviously contradicts the nurses, both their oral statements and their written fucking logs and hospital things, doctors notating times of death. Her fucking time of death it's ridiculous. Her time of death's a half hour before later. It's so stupid. So now he says he shows up there. He talks with Loy and Louise this time outside. Loy is carrying a shotgun this time, and there are, by the way, because this is the sheriff we're talking about here, so it's clearly a fuck up in progress. Yeah. There's conflicting accounts of whether Loy said he shot one shot or no shots. Okay, I could see
big difference.
That's what I'm saying. I could see a difference. I don't know if I busted off 2 or 3 shots. Yeah, fine. Either way, we'll figure it out. Bullets were sprayed.
None or one is a huge fucking difference.
Yeah, he doesn't remember he didn't even fucking write any of this down. He's talking to people who allegedly a shooting just took place at their house. The guy's carrying a shotgun and he doesn't even have a fucking notebook out, this asshole. So it's insane. So he talks with them. Loy says he fired the gun once in the air and then, like we said, or none at all. We don't know. Louise is extremely upset, pointing out a pickup and 2 or 3 other cars on the road that were away from there they could see, and she said they're the ones who are giving us trouble. All those people we can see in the distance there, including the teenagers, I guess, or other teenagers. Now, Loy says that he was frightened during the incident, and he says, the cops showed up, and I told them what happened. That's it. Louise Stone says that she called the sheriff's office 3 times because of ongoing harassment, but that Martin didn't arrive until after the last call. And he says, quote, I was patrolling the area when the call came in. I called a highway patrolman for backup and we went to the house. There were no vehicles, and besides the stones, there was no evidence of foul play. So no vehicles besides theirs, no evidence of foul play. He pulled up at the house. He said, quote, I seen a man and a woman and some car had pulled in. That was the one. I heard a man down the road say, I told him I had a call about the shooting. He said a man told me he fired a single shot to, quote, scare them kids off. And Martin asked the man for the shotgun, and it was quickly retrieved. So he ends up giving the shotgun over, Loy does. So 9:30 p.m., according to Louise here, the sheriff drove in and told her that he would take care of the situation for us and to go on in the house. I don't know what the fuck there's been a shooting, and he goes, I'll take care of it. Y'all just go on in the house. What the fuck is happening here? Seriously.
It's all coming apart.
So she said, so we did. This was about 9:30. They'd been there a little while. About an hour later, the sheriff and several deputies came back. That's when he went and called the highway patrol. The sheriff told us there'd been a report of some shooting and asked us to take our shotgun, which we gave to him. The deputies and one highway patrolman stayed here drinking coffee and watching the cars and pickups go by as fucking dozens more cars and kids came by to yell shit, but they saw the sheriff's car there and left.
Right. But you also now have word spreading that somebody got shot there. So there's going to be so many kids showing up now. There's witches.
So many kids.
That's plenty enough to get kids. And they're murdering people. So many more kids.
Oh, and you have very, very soon, like within 24 hours, you are going to have a lot of pissed off Mexican people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're not happy with this at fucking all. They want
and a
justice.
Man's pickup truck is ruined.
That's the other thing. You ruined my new truck. That's a lot. You shot my daughter and my truck.
Right.
Like, he lost everything that night. That poor man.
All gone.
I mean, honestly,
because he's a hero.
He was a nice guy and tried to be a nice guy. I feel bad for these fucking kids, man. Jesus, we've all done jerk off shit like this when we were kids.
Yeah, but you can't.
We've all done it.
You don't expect to get shot for it.
That's what I'm saying. We've all done it, and we're all still here. Right. None of us took a shotgun pellet to the temple, so it's tough. 10:40 is when Martin, the sheriff, obtains a warrant from the Justice of the Peace to search everything. 12:15 and 12:30 a.m. now. Yeah. Louise Stone says Sheriff Martin and a county judge return with a search warrant and inform the Stones that I
like cunty judge.
And a cunty judge. I don't know if it said a country judge. Like, he's like a judge that, like, over who knows? He's one of them country judges. He just got like a in the field judge stand. You go up to him and he grants things.
He's just over there dipping biscuits in country crock.
I don't know what goes on in West Texas. This is how non-West Texas informed I am.
Nothing happens.
Not a lot, apparently. So this is when they inform the Stones that there's a girl that's been killed. Yeah. They don't even know about it till 12:30 that someone's dead. So there's no like Nextdoor app or anything like that you can go on and go, oh, that girl died. So the Stones sign the permission to search form. They just give consent to search, which they didn't even need the warrant after that, even though they went and got it. Yeah. So both houses are searched, Ruby's and Loy and Louise's. They tell the Stones to take Ruby with them and go stay in a motel because they got to tear everything up. There's a murder, an investigation, and if you want to get any sleep tonight, if you want mom to get some sleep, take her to a hotel, basically. Wow. So the search turns up another shotgun in the barn, but this is the one that's described as rusty and inoperable. Okay. So that's just been in the barn collecting rust here. So Louise said that when the sheriff asked for their shotgun, because they were asked for the shotgun before they knew that anybody had died. Okay. So she said that she was, quote, very curious about that, like why they would want our shotgun, but didn't learn until much later that night that someone had actually been shot on the property. That's her claim, anyway. So, talking to the teens here, Arthur Herrera says that when they arrived there, that he says they got there at 9:00 later on, which her time of death.
That's not
her time
impossible.
of death is like 8:56 or something. So it's completely impossible. They got there around 8:00. Mm-hmm. That's what happened, but not 9:00. Which, I mean, your watch, who knows? So it's close over there. It's not right on the thing. So
is it right at the edge of the time difference?
I don't know. I have no idea. So
maybe he set his clock forward instead of backwards and didn't realize what fall does.
That's what it is. Oh my God!
He had to set on New York time,
and he did it. And he did it a couple weeks early too, like a jackass. That's the problem. You have to do it when everyone else does it. That's the issue.
I understand. James.
I like to be a rebel sometimes too, but time is not one of those. You got to be in step with everyone on that one. We're gonna have people soon that aren't gonna do that. Nope. It's 11:00 to me. Yeah, it's 11 to me. I don't give a fuck.
Very close.
I show up when my watch says it's that time. Like. What? Time doesn't really exist. It's a construct of man, Oh, my God. Be here at 10, you fucking asshole.
What, you follow Dan Rather on Twitter? Yeah. Did he tell you that?
Damn times. People trying to tell me that I don't see no clock in space. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying, nothing but that. So he says, 9:00. He says it was 2 hours after dark. He said he claimed to see someone, heard one of the girls scream, and then heard a sound that he thought was rocks being kicked up by the tires, followed by breaking glass in the passenger side window as he backed up. Okay. And so this is the one where he says he doesn't know how he turned the light off. He just knows that he could have moved his knee, could have bumped it, he might have been fumbling for something. I don't know.
I could have done anything.
Well, he doesn't even say he heard that. He just said he heard one of the girls scream, then heard a sound that he thought was rocks being kicked up by tires. So he didn't even say he heard a shotgun blast. That's the other. Yeah. Half the kids don't say they didn't hear a shotgun blast. That's the other thing.
That is fascinating.
And that's their original statement, too. That's his statement that night. So this is what's interesting. And there's an hour, fucking hour between A and B, which is the thing.
What the fuck were they doing?
I don't know. That's the thing. There's so many theories to this. So we'll get into the evidence and we'll find out. So the case presented here, they're talking about they don't know what exactly to do here. There's several differing accounts of all sorts of shit. Yeah. Number one, all the things we told you, times, nobody took notes. Oh, there's also differing accounts of whether there was a search warrant actually served or used. Differing accounts on whether the Stones were ever informed of their Miranda rights at all while they were being questioned. Sheriff says he doesn't remember giving them to him. I don't remember giving them and reading them the Miranda rights. Well, someone has to. Jesus, this is why there's procedure. Right. So even when it's small stuff, you do the procedure. So then when a big thing comes along, you know the procedure. And you don't fuck it up like this, you fucking moron. So I'm sorry, but this guy's an idiot.
Don't be sorry. This is dumb. This is the
Sheriff
problem.
Granville Martin is a fuck up in this particular case. I don't know. He might be a wonderful man otherwise, but right here he's a dickhead. So he fucking blew it hard. So he says that he doesn't know if they were informed of their rights during the initial search. He doesn't know if the unmarked, they didn't even, okay, there's evidence. There's a procedure when you get evidence, like a possible murder weapon. Right. You have to catalog it, you bag it, you tag it. You write that down. There's a log and it all goes together so you can make sure it all matches up. He says they didn't really do anything. They just cooked the shotgun and put it down. They didn't log it or enter it into evidence, give it a number or do anything like that. He said that he wasn't sure if the unmarked shotgun, just a shotgun obtained from the Stones that night was the same gun later admitted into evidence at the trial. Not positive.
Wow.
Also, there's an argument back and forth of whether number 6 or number 7.5 pellets were found in the truck after the shooting. They're not sure. The sheriff's department's got differing reports on it.
Unbelievable.
There are reports that there are both there, which would be impossible from the one shotgun.
It has
because
to be 2 shots, or I mean, you could put 2 shells and have different ones
that are
each.
different.
Right?
Well, why would you load it with? Why would you load it with 2 different loads that are that close, though?
Probably 2 different shotguns.
Yeah, those aren't that far apart to be like, we'll do one of these, then one of these. They're pretty close, 6 and 7.5. So,
unless you ran out of boxes of that one and you just
had one
the
left.
Other ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So Loy and Louise, their story now is, at first it was we didn't fire any shots. Yeah. Now they have a story that they fired once into the air, up into the air, while yelling at the intruders to leave or they would shoot.
Those things came
so they
down
shoot.
fast.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah. Boom. Fast and close.
Fast and precision. Jesus.
Yeah. Yet the pickup truck is hit twice.
Oh.
Firearms expert from the state then comes in, maybe someone who has his shit together a little bit more, and he will later testify he found both number 6 and number 7.5 pellets in the truck. Okay. So, by the way, all of the shotgun shells that they took from the Stones house, they have the shotgun and all the shells, they're all loaded with number 6 pellets.
Okay.
They didn't find a 7.5 pellet in the fucking house at all. So,
not even a shell for it outside?
Not
what
even
the
nothing. Number 6 all the way. Yet there's 2 different ones. Everybody heard 1 shot or no shots, but at least just 1. Nobody heard 2. Yet there's 2 holes, and it took an hour to get to the hospital. You starting to possibly
what's going down?
Get another theory of maybe the kids got out of there, something else happened. Right. I don't know what, but something else happened, and they decided, fuck it, let's blame it on the witches. Yeah. And I don't want to. I'm not trying to blame the obvious victim of a murder. They're teenagers, so we've all done shit. We don't want to say we were here when this happened, or you know what I mean. Like we've all had dumb stories like that. I don't know what happened. That's the thing. Someone must have did it. So they, it gets very fucking complicated with the science of this whole thing. But still, no one's been arrested at all. They found 3 unspent shells, and later they netted 5 spent shells from all over the property, not from right there. I mean, they could, and a rusty old shotgun that was unusable. November 2nd, comes around. This is the day after the big search and everything. The Stones, including Ruby Stone, all of them, they go to the county sheriff's office where they're questioned separately. When they return home, they find police chief Joe Ben Mitchell and a deputy sheriff and the county probation officer walking around their property. Okay. Why the county probation officers in on this, I have no fucking idea. I just don't think they have a large crew here. Yeah. They don't have a deep bench in this county, in this town, I don't feel like.
That guy with some responsibility.
Yeah. They're walking around their property taking measurements and shit. That's when they seize the rusty shotgun, and the sheriff ends up returning later and questioning Ruby Stone on the property there. So around November 3rd comes around, the next day, and this is the memorial for Roxanne. Oh boy. School is a half day. Yeah. Everybody gets out. Everybody goes to the memorial. It's a big thing. It's a small school. There's less than 500 kids there, so they all know her. Yeah. It's a famous thing. Yeah. So they said that as the investigation went on, during this funeral, there are loud demands for an arrest. Okay. They want a fucking arrest. There's 1,000 people at this funeral, angry fucking Mexican people that want a goddamn arrest. Bad. Martin, the sheriff, said, quote, "I had a lot of Spanish people wanting to know why we didn't have an arrest."
Fucking hilarious.
That's his fucking thing there. Yeah. He said that the schools, they closed at noon, and all the people followed everybody over to the church. They said about Roxanne, quote, "She was never in any trouble until Monday, when just like other teenagers, she went out to have some fun. Then all of a sudden she was hit." The kids are sobbing. This is terrible for 15-year-old fucking kids. You don't expect this to happen. So it's at this moment during the whole thing. Oh, by the way, there's some representatives of the Brown Berets have come in as well,
what
offering.
The hell is that?
that's like a militant Mexican American.
Oh my God,
Chicano movement. Yeah, if you read about Oscar Acosta, the hunter's friend, he talks a lot about that. He was down with like the Brown Pride movement of that time and all that shit.
If Curtis Sliwa got shit done,
kinda, yeah. It's one of those. So those people, they come in and they offer. We'll get you justice if you don't get it from the police and shit like that. So it's getting to a boiling point here where. It's getting
weird civil war.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, what ends up happening during the whole memorial, the sheriffs come and arrest the Stones during the memorial. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if they did that then to say, "Holy shit! If we don't do this now, they're going to go from the memorial to these people's fucking house, or we better arrest them." Or I don't know. There's been a shooting on their property. Let's arrest them and figure out what happened. We have their. That's something.
Some police work.
They're released within an hour on $50,000 bond, both of them. They left jail at 5:30 p.m. 4.5 hours after the police showed up at their house to arrest them. They were leaving jail, bonded out already. So, they're end up being indicted, both of them, on murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
Right.
Is both Louise and Loy indicted there.
Should get 5 probably because there's 5 kids in that fucking truck. But go on.
Yeah, at least attempted or something. So they want to move the trial obviously to a different location. So one of the witnesses here, there's a problem. There's a witness that they come up with. It's one of the teenagers in a different car. This was the white car. This was a teenager near there that was parked down the road at the same time. They said that they also heard a single shot, and that's a distance too, where you wouldn't hear rocks and shit, but you would hear one echoing shotgun shot. That's what you would hear. So that's actually a much better vantage point for sound reasons if you want to hear a gunshot. She also said she saw a white car that was parked by the road at the same time. Yeah. Now, the white car is probably the sheriff's car.
Oh, that one too, yeah.
The pickup's red.
Yeah.
So,
but didn't the boy have his brother with him too?
Yes, he did. That's the other thing. We don't know. So he was up front ahead of them. Mm-hmm. So Terry Moore, her name is 19. She told of seeing the white car in the vicinity when she drove past the home on Halloween night. She said the white car was parked nearby when she saw a pickup truck come out of the Stones' driveway very fast. She said the driver of the white car stopped the car in which she and 3 other teenagers were riding and said that he identified himself as Sheriff Granville Martin. So her recollection is that the sheriff was there during the shooting.
Wow.
Which no one else says that except for this person.
Interesting. But does she have a call log?
I don't know about her call log. That's what I mean. But this seems like it's just shifted. Also, when did they talk to this person? If they didn't talk to her that night, time shift. And I don't mean that somebody would lie on purpose. She could be trying to do her best, but your memory loses things. And, it's that lined up there. Was that happened before or after that happened?
A 19-year-old with shitty West Texas weed in 1978? Who fucking knows?
Yeah, drinking fucking Boone's Farm. You don't know what happened.
Who has any idea?
So, yeah, she said that, but she claims not only did the sheriff talk to her, the sheriff told her and her companions, quote, "Someone's been shot and you better leave." Yeah. So they're saying that the sheriff was there, knew about the shooting, and fucking was shooing people away like directly during and after the shooting. I don't see how there'd be a shooting, like a shotgun shooting, while the police are there, unless I don't know what the fuck's going on here. This is so confusing. So
that sounds mistaken.
There's so many theories.
Well. Yeah.
There's so many theories. Or maybe that's the only correct one, and fucking, maybe the sheriff buck shots at this. I don't know what the fuck happened. Not that I'm accusing him, but who knows? Yeah. We have no idea. There's 2 different shotguns. Every fucking Texas sheriff probably carries a shotgun in the front of their car. Yeah. So I don't know. But not that I think that happened. I'm just saying anything is possible. So the Stones claim innocence. They contend they're innocent. They said one thing the tragedy has accomplished, though, is to give attention to witchcraft. They're happy about that.
There's a silver lining.
There is a silver lining.
Dave Chappelle has got a lot of attention to stand up right now.
That's what I mean. It happens. So, even fucking, there's no such thing as bad publicity is what they're saying. That's the ultimate murdering a teenager.
no such thing as bad publicity. That's
Jeffrey
terrible.
Dahmer got a lot of attention on home culinary ability.
He really, really did. And Ambrosia Chocolate Factory chocolate. Try some of that chocolate. So they said that, you know, it's been tough on them with this whole thing. People threatening them. They said they've had ulcers and high blood pressure and insomnia and threats of being having their house burned down, threats of being hanged, threats of being shot.
Wow.
Yeah, people are. I mean, they get like letters and shit. They
said, "Go on."
Yeah, and they said they're going to have to sell their land or a bunch of their land to pay for their attorney's fees as well. Loy says it this way, quote, "I feel like I've been swimming in molasses. Unless you've been accused of murdering a 15-year-old girl, you have no idea how I feel." Okay. It's a very good point. Yeah, I don't know how that feels because I've never been around a dead 15-year-old girl, thankfully. Knock on wood. So
but I never am.
That's what I mean. That seems like a situation I could probably keep myself out of.
Yeah. Real
easy. It's not an accident.
Like you got to go out of your way to be around a dead 15-year-old girl.
That's what I'm saying. Really, you have to probably cause it most of the time. So a week after their arrest, they started getting a ton of donations to their defense fund. Really? Between $5 and $20 cash in the mail.
Go for it.
Also, a variety of psychic impressions from friends elsewhere in the country that know what's going to happen for them there. Okay. Also, they performed their own divination using the pendulum method as well, they said. On October 10th, 1977, Louise asked the pendulum, I guess it's like a magic 8-ball, okay, was the girl killed here? And the pendulum said no.
Oh.
And then she asked, did they go from here to the hospital directly? And it said no.
Case dismissed.
Case dismissed. We have a... Your Honor, I call the pendulum.
I call the pendulum and an oracle to the stand.
I call a pendulum and this lady. So... They say they've gotten support, too. They said, quote, we've gotten a surprising number of calls and letters from, quote, good Christian people saying they'd pray for us. We really deeply appreciate those people. This, to me, is the way Christianity ought to work, he says. He says, yeah, they're trying to move it to Plainview and all this type of shit. They said that he has... the charges, he can go from anywhere to 5 to 99-year sentences, his range of sentencing here for the charges he has.
Okay.
There's a lot of leeway here, I would say. They said that as it closes in, everyone wants to get it over with. The prosecutor said it's a strange case. Very sad. Yeah. I would say so. Now, other Wiccans are... Some of them come to his defense. Some of them take to the papers to call him and her mail-order witches.
Oh.
They're mail-in witches. They're not real.
Right.
They're fucking fake.
$5 5 minute? What is, I don't know. Where you fucking get ordained online. That's what they're calling
yes.
it now.
They said that he's being criticized, called a mail-in or a mail-order witch.
Yeah.
They, which sounds like a witch that you buy to have sex with. That sounds gross. So, sounds like Elvira pops up at your door. Hi.
Sounds like a blast.
Very weird. So they said that, they're not like them. They're mail-order witchcraft because they joined after taking a correspondence course.
Yep.
A correspondence course that costs $100.
Right.
It was a year-long course, actually.
Wow.
This course. So it wasn't like they had to constant do shit. The Herman Slater, who calls himself a high priest in Earthstar, a Welsh traditional coven, okay, he says, quote, it's pop folk magic. It's garbage. By the way, this guy owns a store in New York City specializing in occult objects. So he said it's pop folk magic. Would you like to buy this fucking pendulum? That's what he just said.
That's pop folk magic. Can I interest you in some incense?
Yeah, it's good for your spells. This
I have a dragon here that you put cone incense in, and the smoke comes out of his nose.
It's really cool. It's really cool. He said the Wiccans members are not witches. They claim to be hereditary Welsh traditionalists, but their practices in their witches' Bible are not witchcraft as I know it. He says, in witchcraft, no money is allowed to change hands. He says everybody in the country is upset over what he called, quote, Wicca's materialism. That's what it's known for, really. It's just sucking the money out of people, always Wiccan.
That owns
Wiccans.
a business.
selling shit to do this stuff.
What an asshole.
Wow. Hypocrite fucking.
Does he give that shit away?
That's like a meta hypocrite.
It
like
really
it's
is.
like you're like, whoa, man, that's fucking that's deep, bro.
You're going
you
so
sell
far
the shit and you're like,
for
whoa.
your hypocrisy, mister.
You like mock your customers, man. Wow. Fuck, man. He said that what is this here? He says that most covens worship a female goddess. He says, quote, without the goddess, they have nothing. I mean,
Just like
fucking dummies, right?
It's like anything else.
They think they're going to have a coven without a god. These fucking people, they're going to have a coven without a goddess. What do they think they are? These fucking people. What's wrong with them?
What's Islam without Buddha or Buddha? Muhammad.
Let's just
you know what I mean?
leave it at that, Jimmy. Let's leave it there.
What's Islam without Buddha?
Let's not anger everything.
That
and
was
get
the
it
most
wrong
blasphemous thing I've ever said. That was terrific.
Well, I mean, who the fuck do you care? No, that's the other thing. So,
What's
he
Catholicism?
said, without the goddess, they have nothing. Punks. They also say you don't have to believe in magic to make it work. Yeah. Belief is 90% of it.
True.
Listen. And to prove it to you, I have an item over here on the shelf that you're going to love. I've been saving it. I put it aside for someone who I really feels like gets this. You know what I mean? I think you're the one. They said that while most covens emphasize the healing powers of herbs, Wicca members are, quote, very big into vitamins, he says. He says, instead of growing rose hips, they're buying vitamin C at the drugstore. They're buying vitamin C and they don't even have a fucking goddess, Jimmy. They're buying vitamin C with no goddess. What a bunch of fucking posers, right? Like losers. You don't even have a goddess with your vitamin C tablets, you pussies. Fuck, man. So the predictions start to roll in from their friends in the occult world here. Yeah. They've all done their own little readings, and we have some. A tarot card reader in Phoenix wrote to the Stones on November 4th, 1977. So, like, right then, said, quote, both the cards and my psychic impressions indicate that you will not be convicted of any major crime in connection with this incident. Yeah, they said that some people said, quote, I think the killing was done for a much deeper reason. The fact that you're members of the craft was just a convenience for the people who did it. Okay. So they're saying that this was done for a whole other reason, and you're just an easy scapegoat because you're witches. So several people sent them different maps marked with like where the real murder occurred and with drawings of the real murder site. One especially detailed little rendition accompanied by a hand-drawn map. If you get a detailed thing and a hand-drawn map from someone who's never been to any of that shit, fucking keep an eye on that person because they're dangerous.
Are all of them the same? All of them consistent? Because if not, we got a problem.
That'd be amazing if they all lined up. I'd believe it then. If,
then you got to think.
You got to think. They said the around the hand-drawn map, it said, quote, area she was killed in, there is a large grove of trees like cottonwoods. There is a gravel road to a dirt lane over a culvert that leads there. A single unbroken fence is on your left as you travel on the gravel road. The psychic continued, they feel that this place is within 2 to 5 miles of the Stones' house. Okay. So, Louise photocopied all of this that were sent to her and everything else and passed them on to the other people in their network, to give a whole thing. Right. Other theories came in. Was Roxanne pregnant? Was she killed by a jealous boyfriend who caught her in the car with other guys? And ridiculous, just, who knows? We don't know any better than anybody.
Shitloads of skepticism.
A pendulum guy, Bill Finch, and his associate in Sedona, Arizona, obviously, psychic Mary Atkinson.
Feel the voice, James.
We've been there. It's fucking ridiculous there.
The crystals.
Oh God, it's just old ladies in turquoise selling each other crystals. It's all it is, man. It's in like flowy dresses selling each other shit.
And some dude that just wants to smoke weed and drive a pink Jeep with tourists around. It's great. It's an awesome little town.
And bang 55-year-old ladies. Right. We went to this restaurant that had this dude working it. Yeah. It's called the Cowboy Club, and the waiter. We've been there like 3 times, and the waiter's the same guy every time.
The restaurant is amazing.
This guy. He's probably about 30.
Yeah.
And if you go, you sit on like the nice side with the booths, like he'll wait on. He's got like a cowboy hat, and he's like, "Let me tell you what we got there. There's buffalo chops. We've got a demi-glaze on that. Blah blah blah." And he's, let me do that. He keeps doing that, and then he walked away one time. I go, how much like middle-aged tail does this guy get? Like it's. Groups of ladies that come out here. He's like, I'll take all 3 of you. We're going to go back to my place. It's a studio apartment. Your hotel room's probably nicer. That's okay. Make about $150 a week. That's cool.
I'll bet you he's got a standing room at the Amara down the way where you got the fucking Oak Creek Canyon trickling by while he just bangs out these just hammering.
I think so. So that's way off the subject.
Sedona
so anyway.
Gigolo.
That's what he is. So every time he walks away, we crack up laughing. How you doing? All right. I'm okay.
How much is he slaying here?
Tell you about your specials tonight. Pretty good. It's exactly how he talks, man. He said that they worked with the investigator. These are the pendulum and the Sedona psychic lady, with investigator Sneed to blend psychic and shoe leather investigative techniques. So we're going to mix the psychic with the actual private investigator. And he said that quote he did the like a pendulum reading on all the teenagers, and he said quote, this is funny. Not funny, who knows? Arthur Herrera, quote, self-centered, not trustworthy, possibly been in trouble before, more distrustworthy than not, thinks about sex all the time. That's the only one that I know is true. He's 18 years old. He definitely thinks about sex all the time. Other than that, I don't know any of this shit.
Guess who's 40 and that shit ain't changed.
Right? I was going to say, because it hasn't changed in fucking over 20 years, so it's not changing now, ever probably, especially when you're 18. He said, did possibly give a shotgun to someone else, possibly borrowed a shotgun.
Oh.
That's their thing. Sneed and the psychics visited an empty house a few miles from the Stones' residence that the psychics suggested might be the actual murder scene.
Okay.
He obtained permission from the owner to search it and discovered a mattress upstairs, numerous empty beer and liquor bottles, and the evidence of target shooting outside. It's a place where kids go to drink and fuck and shoot guns.
In West Texas.
In West Texas. A few days previously, Sneed had visited another site near this abandoned house where he learned of from Joe Rojas, or Riojas, who was 20, who was a friend who had driven ahead of the group's pickup to show them where the Stones lived. This location's an abandoned gravel pit known to the locals as Shotgun Canyon.
Jesus.
And it was the site for partying and target. Kids would go there, drink beer, and shoot shotguns and shoot guns off. That was what it was. He reported seeing, quote, all kinds and sizes of expended shotgun shells, shot up old car body, and other items. Yeah, because that's what it is. But they don't know that they went there. That's the thing. Anyway, he just knew of the existence from that kid. He didn't say they went there afterwards. So Halloween 79 comes up. The trial still hasn't happened yet.
Another year later.
Yeah, another year later, and people are fucking pissed. Yeah. They're really pissed. They want the trial to go on, but there's like a lot of emotions involved here. Sheriff Granville Martin says, quote, we're sitting on a powder keg up here. Then he says, if they want violence, we'll meet them. That's what he said. What? So if they want violence, we'll meet them. So he's saying the Mexicans are mad, and if they're going to come for us, we'll fucking fight with them. That's what he said, basically.
Wow.
Like, this isn't the 1800s,
no.
dude. It's fucking calm down. So
he has not forgotten the Alamo, James.
Absolutely not.
Or maybe he has, because he doesn't remember how that went.
No shit. To say it's written under the brim of his hat. How can he forget?
Also, these are Americans that are going to fight him.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Plenty.
Calm
of
down,
them.
mister.
Yeah. So it said that it's getting more toward Halloween. There's reporters coming. There's fucking kids that want to drive by and all this type of shit. One of the attorney for the Stones, Travis Shelton,
He's former president of the 32,000-member Bar Association. Oh, wow. And he's Stone's attorney. He declared his clients off limits to reporters. Okay. Leave them alone as the publicity builds before Halloween. They're going to have enough trouble here. They say in the paper, though, that they will continue to follow their religion the way they feel is best. Lloyd said, quote, "We're not going to be driven underground." Okay. So he doesn't give a fuck. Now, a deposition is taken at some point here, because there's a civil case going on, too, that we'll talk about. Deposition, Adriana Rangel, one of the 15-year-olds in the car. I believe she's the one...
sitting to the next side, yeah.
Sitting next to the driver, between the driver and Roxanne. Right. So Adriana, she said in her deposition that she and other kids had been, quote, talking about devil worshippers during the week before Halloween, and that another student said that she had cruised by the Stones' house with her uncle looking for devil worshippers earlier in that month. So this was like, people were just, this was the activity to do. Go look at them. Yeah. In Hereford, the students were, and if anybody cares how I fucking said that, I don't care. I cringe when I hear him say, no one's ever heard of this town.
You cringe? Do you?
People say that all the time. I cringe every time he said that name. Do you care, really? Because no one else does. Outside of the 3,000 people that live wherever the fuck you're talking about, no one cares. No one. We don't even know it exists. Never mind fucking care how you say it. So if you're in Hereford or Hereford and you care, fuck you. If
you're in that area of Texas and you're that specific about how to pronounce that, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, because someone says it with like 8 more vowels and syllables than it needs from Texas. It doesn't matter.
It's Harvard.
Yeah, Harper. He said, I and 4 other of the students here decided to go see the devil worshippers at Old Man Stone's house.
Wow.
48, Old Man Stone. I love that shit.
Old Man Stone, 48.
48. And an old lady with a shotgun, 47. Yeah, she's 36, but, she looks terrible. This girl... continues, we drove down to his house, slowed down when we got to it to look at the S on the door and the picture of an eye in his window. I guess there's a picture of some kind of fucking picture. Okay. Yeah. He said he turned around for a second pass and saw a man standing in the bar, in the borrow ditch. I guess a ditch? I don't know what that is. He thought he heard a shot, but found no damage to his car. This is the person. This is another person in front. This is Paul Andrew Bell described this. The other one was Adriana, and this one is Paul Andrew Bell, who said he drove by there, and he said that he thought he heard a shot when he went there too. Totally different day. Right. But he said that he found no damage to his 1977 tan Chevrolet Monza. Ugh.
Wow, what a car.
Piece of shit. Tan. Another girl who made repeated trips to the house thought someone chased her car and shot at it, but then there was nothing hit. Nobody hit anything. So it sounds like a lot of shots fired into the air is what we're getting at. Yeah. Everybody hears shots, but nothing's ever hit. Or a terrible shot. Other kids admitted to multiple trips and to knocking on the door and asking questions of Ruby Stone. So they were
the fuck is wrong with you?
Harassing her, like, you love the devil and all this type of shit. And she's like, huh? I'm an old lady. I don't know what you're talking about. So 1980 comes around. They're finally going to have the trial, but they need a change of venue here. They're going for that. They said they're going to have to examine prospective jurors closely. A lot of people are not familiar with the Church of Wicca, is what they say here. So they don't know how they're going to fucking do that. They say that in the request for change of venue, they get a defense investigator, William Sneed of Allstate Securities Industries, Inc. He noted that approximately 90% of the people in Dimmitt had formed the opinion that the Stones were guilty of murder. Approximately 10% of the people were not sure who killed Roxanne Casas, and some of them suspected the sheriff as the murderer. Which, that's a theory we came up with. Approximately 10% of the people were of the opinion that the Stones would receive a fair trial. 10% said that. So the people in the community knew them as good people, was also that he found. Right. So too many people know about this shit. They move it to Plainview, Texas. Getting a jury is a problem for them. Finding a jury that works is a real fucking issue because Everybody's heard about this shit and everything. They need to pick 12 of these they need a panel of 32 jurors is what they're looking for replacements and shit. So yeah, they said once 32 are selected, the defense and prosecution each get to strike 10, and that leaves whatever. That leaves 12 total. There's your jury. So they end up doing that. They're not giving jurors like exact dates though. None of this is organized. None of this. At one point, they're moving around which courtroom it's at, and Loy tells the paper, "I hope somebody lets us know where we're supposed to be." Because no fucking idea.
Has no idea where he's supposed to be.
Yup. No shit. They questioned the jurors closely, looking for bias. Their questions were designed to detect bias for or against witchcraft, Hispanics, or law enforcement. Oh my. Which in Texas, you're probably going to get for or against all of those things. Yeah. In Texas, I'm going to take a run out on a limb. Nay, nay, yay is what I'm going to say on those probably. Just off the top of my head in West Texas. So they're going to proceed with the case on its circumstantial evidence pretty much here. That's all it is. They don't have any real evidence.
All they've got is a body and a shotgun, and the physical evidence isn't great. It doesn't convict anybody by any stretch.
It's as contradictory as it is inculpatory.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's everything. So it's all sorts of shit here. So one of the witnesses, Arthur Herrera, the driver, who's very important, is gone by the trial. He's gone back to Mexico, and they can't find him.
Oh, no.
He left. So he's not a witness anymore. And they quote, lost his statement he made at the deposition.
Of course
they lost it. They fucking lost it. What are you how do you lose shit? Get a folder in a fucking filing cabinet. I don't lose shit, and I'm disorganized as fuck. This is terrible, man. So anyway, he said, as to the witchcraft, quote, it's going to come in, the prosecutor says. If I don't bring it in, the defense will have to, or the reason for the incident will be incomprehensible to the jury. You can't just say, teenagers just love to fuck with these people. Why? Why do they keep coming there? So they said that everybody wants to get it over with. The prosecutor said, like I said, it's a strange case. They said there's no way you can take away the tragedy. Anybody who would give anything in the world to undo this, but we're not given that power. It's a case that needs to be tried. The defense, they can't argue there's an alibi. They have to. He said he was there. He said he was outside. They are trying to find the alternative murder scene by psychic means. That's not going to work out probably very much. They said that, they could have said that your defense is that you fired the shot. You shot him by accident. And, you did it by accident, self-defense. You thought they were coming after you. You thought they were going to try to burn your house down. So one reporter speculated the trial may revolve around a law that permits the use of deadly force to protect property in certain cases, including malicious mischief. So that's what they're saying. That's what the press thinks they're going to do here. They end up they're going to have to testify about all the harassment that they've encountered. More than that, the defense attorney and the prosecutor at one point here hammer the sheriff's fucking management. I mean, they go after him for his bullshit of the investigation, inconsistencies in the testimonies. All the teenagers have different stories.
Of course.
Teenagers in different cars have different stories at different times, different cars, different shots. The sheriff has a completely different story. The Stones have a third story.
Yeah.
There's like 5 stories floating around, and none of them match up, and none of them make any sense.
None of them we know, none complement each other. They're all fucked.
Nope. They're all fucked. They're all fucked out. And all we know is that this poor girl's dead. And that's it. So they also hammer on him for the sheriff failed to supervise the investigation, leaving deputies and officers from other agencies to pick up bits and pieces of evidence at random. He seized the Stone shotgun, did not record its serial number or log it into evidence, leading to a failure to properly identify it in court when it's tried to be introduced into evidence.
Right, because that's the thing about serial numbers. They identify a gun to that particular fucking gun.
It's crazy. The Chief Joe, Ben, Bob, Job, Jim, Charlie, who Old Dale Bill, who had taken pictures and investigated the pickup as it sat outside the emergency room, collecting shotgun pellets and bits of flesh. Gross. God. Claimed Martin, the sheriff, was not really interested in what he found, basically. He's like, I don't care. Meanwhile, Martin's questioning of the teens consisted of, quote, "Are you the kids in the pickup? Have you been shot? Are you okay?" That's all he asked. Wow. The defense tried to make the testimony of the sheriff about the first night's search inadmissible because the Stones had not had their legal rights read to them, which the prosecutor responded it didn't matter since they signed a permission form. So this fucking sheriff, all week he's on the stand getting grilled. I mean, by everybody. Well, why didn't you do that? Well, it would help a lot if you would have fucking did that, stupid.
Why'd you run for this job if you don't want it?
Yep. He said that Mrs. Stone was outside pointing to two cars and doing all that. We already talked about that. Joe Ben gets on the stand, and they question him as well. He testifies that he was at the Castro County Courthouse night of the shooting when Martin questioned those who'd been picked up. He said Martin asked Garza if he'd been hit by the shotgun blast. When Garza replied he had, Martin asked, "Are you okay?" Martin then asked them, "Y'all know anything?" Y'all know anything? That's the questioning in a murder investigation. Y'all know anything?
Because I'm here to make fun of you nerds if you do.
I'm going to beat you up. See if you can catch a football first. They said no, and that was that. They said that was then they asked the Joe Bob or Jim Ben or whatever the fuck his name is. That was the extent of the sheriff's questioning, and he said that was it.
Wow.
Literally, y'all know anything? And he said no, and he's like, all right. Wow, y'all know anything? That's really thorough investigation. Now, the teens here, the prosecutor asks Garza if anything unusual happened while he and the others were at the Stone house that night. He said, quote, "They killed Roxanne." And they said that happened on the Stones' property, and he said yes. He testified again that an old woman in her 40s carried a gun from behind the pump house near the road and stood in front of the vehicle. That witness said that he heard only one shot. Another passenger testified that she saw a man who was, quote, "the biggest man I ever saw." So, an old lady and the biggest man on the planet.
And a 9 foot
tall, a 9 foot tall man and a shriveled up little old lady came out. Now he's a big fucking dude, guy, but still, he's not the biggest man you've ever seen. It's Texas. There's bigger people than that. So this passenger says that she saw him step out, the biggest man she ever saw, from behind the pump house, and immediately before the two shots were fired. So she doesn't know if he fired the shots or somebody else was shot. Somebody else fired the shot. There's discrepancies of whether it's one shot or two shots, discrepancies where it came from. The time is all fucked up. The evidence, they don't even know if they have the murder weapon. They have no fucking clue. They have a gun there. That's something.
What are they going to do about this?
This is fucking crazy. So the first witness that for them that comes up here is Lloyd. Lloyd is going to testify as well. Another witness says that he heard somebody say, "You'd better get the hell out of here or I'll shoot you," at one point from the house. Maria Trevino says that they were about to go see some witches on Halloween night. That's what they were.
Yeah.
They went to the carnival, then we're going to go to the witch house, but they couldn't find it. That's when they met a carload of kids that knew where it was and took them there. And the guy said, "Oh, this is the place I buy eggs." She said, I didn't know it was the place. I just didn't know they had turned on their signal light because they said they met a carload of friends. She said that the car's right turn indicator light is how she saw him. I don't know what difference that makes. She said the friends kept going and the pickup pulled into the driveway. She said from out behind a bush, a man came out and stood in front of the pickup. He had on a gold-colored shirt and he was tall and built big, real big, more than I'd ever seen. It's another one here. And she said she couldn't see his face, and they said, was it the same size as Loy? And they objected, and it was sustained, so that was that. So they said after that, she said one of the boys pushed her onto the floorboard, and she didn't remember anything else until the pickup truck was back on the main road. So she doesn't know anything about the shooting at all, she says. One of the boys in the car, in another car, Emilio Sandoval, said that he told of hearing the woman's voice, but on cross-examination, he said that that they found out that you didn't say that in either of your previous two statements. This is the first time you've said you heard a woman's voice. Why is that? And he said, I don't know. So it's
exhausting.
It's tough, man.
That's what it is.
It's exhausting. The teenagers, they also, the district attorney's attitude toward the trial basically says, like, it's fucking weird. They say, like, hey, we understand that the kids, because they talk about how these kids talk about how the teachers in school were talking about the witch people in class.
Oh
like,
God.
It's all anybody was talking about. So they're like, you know, this is the adults' fault for telling the teenagers all this shit and pumping their heads up. That's what the prosecutor said. Loy tells the jury that he and his wife were standing in a cluster of trees next to the roadside along their property when they saw a pickup truck pull into their driveway. He said he walked between the trees and stood next to the pump house before stepping out to yell. He said, then I got out of the way because I didn't know what they were going to do. You don't want them to get run over by the truck, he said. He said that he and his wife were out in their yard doing all that shit. He said it was so dark they, quote, couldn't see each other without speaking. And he testifies that he yelled, quote, get the hell out of here, and fired the gun into the air with his shotgun. He said he couldn't see the cab of the pickup because his vision was blocked by the pump house. So he said he saw them, then went behind the pump house and shot a fucking shot off from behind there into the air. Okay. So he said that he was behind the pump house, so he couldn't have hit the car because it was in the way between him and the car.
Right.
The pump, yeah, that's what he said. So he said after he fired the warning shot, the truck backed out of the driveway and pulled away. He said he was surprised when cops came to his house later that night. He said, I wondered what in the world everybody was doing. He said that we spoke calmly for 2.5 hours about the whole thing. He's on the witness stand now. He said that I asked them what they were looking for, and they didn't say. He said he was frightened because a vehicle had driven by his house earlier and fired several shots in his direction and hit his mom's house. No one was hurt, but that's why he keeps a shotgun outside now, and that's why they bought one, because once somebody started shooting at him. District attorney asks him if he ever used the word witch to describe himself. Okay. He says, quote, I don't go around carrying a banner. Religion is a very personal thing with me. If I was asked, depending on the manner in which it was asked, I may say I'm a witch. Which is a great fucking way for a smart person to fucking run around a question on a dumb person. Or just someone who doesn't know what they're talking about in this perfect thing here. He says he doesn't believe in Satanism or any of that. There's a missing juror for like a week. The juror just disappears. They have to stop the fucking trial.
He shows up because he's getting thinner.
Yeah, it's just fun. The judge said he'd like to have 34 or 35 jurors just in case, but they won't let him do that. You know, constitutions and all.
Yeah, that's weird.
The defense offers testimony from 3 teens who were in another vehicle. They recounted seeing the mysterious white car and all that shit. He heard the shot when the sheriff was there. There's those teens. Then a Department of Public Safety chemist analyzed the pellets taken from the girl's head and said he believes they were fired from the shotgun he examined. This is impossible to tell from the shotgun, by the way, especially in 1977. Mm-hmm. This is ridiculous. He also says that he testified that the 5 spent shells found on the Stones' property were from the same weapon. Nobody was even asking that. We all assumed that. Although the shotgun was not tagged, he said he could identify it as the one he took from Stone, even though he agreed there's probably at least 500 of this exact same shotgun in the fucking county. He said, I know this one, though.
Just in the county.
Without the serial number, right. I know a shotgun. Okay.
I can smell it. Sniff it out.
I can smell it.
Let me
Stones present.
That tastes like his salt.
That's the one. Stones present 4 character witnesses as well, and that's the case. The verdict comes in 2 hours and 20 minutes it takes them to come in. 7 women, 5 men, and here we go. What do you think's going to happen, Jimmy?
Oh, they are guilty of sin, according to West Texas law.
Verdict comes in, not guilty.
Wow.
Acquitted on everything.
They got it right. I mean, based on the evidence.
They don't have the evidence.
No.
Yeah, they don't have the evidence. Even if they did it,
people.
which, yeah, they don't. You need to at least fucking catalog the murder weapon at a very minimum if you're going to convict people of murder.
This loss is on the sheriff.
Yeah, this is the type of shit when they say like, oh, you know, death penalty in Texas is a little too willy-nilly, because stuff like this happens where they're like, I don't know, it's the same gun, we think. So one juror later on said, quote, "We felt the evidence was lacking." He said, "Still, quite a few ballots were taken before all 12 agreed on it." So some people thought he did it. See, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what happened.
This should have been unanimous as they walked out the door. We can just go back in, right? This is ridiculous. We can't convict people on this.
I mean, even if we think he did it, we can't actually convict people on this. Now, Roxanne's father, Raul, the man who lost his daughter and his truck, he said that he felt pretty bad about the verdict. I don't blame him. It's his daughter. He obviously wants somebody to get punished for it.
Wait till the sun goes down. We're going to burn this whole shit down.
He said, "I know darn well," and it's quoted as darn, "I know darn well he shot her at close range, too. I know from the reports given on the angle of the shots. I think it would have been different if there had been some Mexicans on the jury." Mm-hmm. That's the thing. There was no Mexicans on this jury.
They found all-white jury.
Yeah, when they got down to 32, only 3 of those people were Mexican, and then they got rid of them. So there was that. He said Stone said, quote, "For the Casa's sake, I would really like to know who did it." That's what Loy said. June 5th, 1980, all the charges against Louise are dropped.
Okay.
They're all dropped. There is a civil suit, though, here. Maria Trevino's asking for $200,700 for medical bills and mental anguish, but in the end, she'll accept $2,250.
That's a big difference.
That's a very large. That's 1% of what you asked for. Not good.
Devalued herself terribly.
Adriana Rangel asked for $125,000 and got $750.
Jesus Christ.
That's not even 1%. Raul and Karen Casas sued for $77,000 plus $556.71 in truck repairs. Yeah. They settled for $2,000, the cost of Roxanne's funeral.
Ridiculous.
That's so sad, man. I'm sorry. That's fucking fucked. Sad. That's just so fucking sad. They couldn't even get his truck fixed, and he lost his daughter. They lost their daughter. That's fucking horrible, man. But that's the settlement there. Because he's acquitted on it, so they don't have any leverage once the acquittal comes in. There's no evidence. I mean, it's not even like an OJ civil trial. There's no fucking evidence. October 20th, 1980, though, there's a Wicca seminar coming up, and Lloyd and Louise are there.
Really?
After the trial, they're all about it. Yeah, it's the brochure advertising the Wicca meeting states that the theme of philosophical unity was chosen because of the tremendous help from all sources that Arianhu and Loy and Louise Stone received during these past 3 years. Yeah. At the same hotel, there's going to be another seminar featuring a Baptist convention, which is fucking hilarious, by the way.
I hope the people checking people into their rooms are thoroughly amused all weekend.
Fuck yeah. The Baptist church member said that they're, quote, "asking for protection from the Lord so he can build a hedge around us." They have a pray-in about this, a pray-in. And this one woman who claims to be an ex-San Francisco stripper and Wiccan who is now a Christian in West Texas. That's this one woman says about her. She says that they're having a pray-in to cancel the demonic forces that are on hand here. She said, "Oh, this is Skip Tarrant here." He says, they say they don't want demonic spirits. Skip Tarrant, director of the International School of Wicca, says, "We don't want any demonic spirits either." We have that in common. That's pretty cool. We're here for a seminar, not to cast circles, put on robes, and dance around fires. Most of us do that at one time or another, but we do it at home. They have a sense of humor, these fucking people. I like that much better. Now, the pray-in here, this is Mrs. Mamau is her name, Mamou. We're not here to interfere with their seminar at all. We feel like the spirits they will be calling on will be demonic. If we stand together, our prayers of faith to the God Almighty will cancel these demonic forces. God damn it. Cancel them. Cancel them out. Demonic forces. If they don't cancel, we have made preparations to throw our protest against the convention. We will conduct a rally and let our voices be heard. The devil is a deceiver, and the Bible says he often appears as an angel of light. They, the witches, may not be aware. They might not even be aware that they're demonic. So we got to help them. She also said it's been evidence lately in, quote, child rapes, murders, and the like that we don't need to have witches meeting here.
Holy shit.
We'll just conflate all that together. So that is pretty fucking amazing. There is bomb threats to this thing. Bomb threats are called in, literal bomb threats. People called in and said, the witches came from everywhere. The Wiccans came from all over. And they're like, we didn't expect to get bomb threats and a huge, giant Baptist protest. 300 people from area churches gathered outside the hotel to sing and pray. She said, Judy Mamau said, quote, I'm not going to sign a detente with the devil. I'm going to fight the good fight of faith, and my weapon is the word of God. So she's into that shit. The Wiccan guy says, quote, Satan is part of the Christian belief. We're not Christian or anti-Christian, just other than Christian. The people that are protesting are misinformed. They go to Webster's dictionary and get one view, and that tells you that this is how the word is commonly used. Anyway, the Stones, though, they go to that, they attend that, but afterwards their financial situation goes to shit. They spend all their money on defense. Louise continues to sell irrigation pipe repair equipment, but then in 1982, Loy is diagnosed with cancer, which drains more of their money. And in 1983, Loy dies of cancer. Fuck. So he didn't make it very far.
Yeah.
Louise moved to Amarillo and worked for another 10 years for a market research company before ending up moving to Albuquerque and dying in 1997 at the age of 67.
That's where you go to die.
So they're both, you die in Albuquerque, and there you go. And Roxanne Cassis, poor girl. I mean, either way, no matter what happened, no matter what the finality of it is, poor teenage kid went out for a night of fun on Halloween and got fucking shot in the head. That sucks. I don't care what happened to her. That just is terrible. I do care, but I mean, either way.
The dad has to feel the worst because he gave if he hadn't given that truck, maybe that car would have broken down before they got there.
Who knows? And I'm sure that thought went through the dad's head, because if you're, as a father like you are, that would go through my head. I would think, what could I have done to change that? And whatever I didn't do, I'd blame myself for the rest of my fucking life. Whether it was right or not.
To get there so smooth and easy. Fuck.
Absolutely. So that's a crazy story. Find your own theory, because there's about 100 of them. Anything could have happened. But that's a Halloween night haunted house, which that's a fucking small town murder for Halloween, goddammit. And you haven't heard that 100 other places either.
That is a treehouse of horrors if I've ever heard it.
Fuck yeah. If you like that, please get on whatever app or platform you're listening to and give us as many stars as you can. It really does help the show a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets to live shows. A lot of them sold out. The next 2 months, there's only 2 shows with tickets left. That is the Brea Improv in November, and then the Thursday night Seattle show. There's a Thursday and a Friday. The Thursday one, I think it's 3/4 sold out, so there's probably 150 tickets left.
Brea's 2 weeks away, so you better fucking hurry.
Get your damn tickets to that. Do that. Come see us at live shows and everything like that. Also, buy merch. There's all sorts of good stuff on there. Get everything Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder there. Oh, by the way, Crime and Sports was a crazy, fucked up episode this week, too. Yeah. So, you might want to check that out. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Cooking over there. Sure is. Really good stuff. You get access to everything, all the bonus episodes for both shows that we do, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder. This week, the 2 that you're going to get, outstanding shows. We have the World Bodybuilding Federation we're going to talk about, which is Vince McMahon's attempt to make people pay money on pay-per-view to watch men pose. It's crazy. It didn't work, shockingly enough. Weird, right?
You love Vince McMahon. You love how much
I love making fun of him. Oh, I love it. And especially when something fails, it's the greatest, because he throws it all out there, and then it fails. It's great. So check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then for the Small Town Murder episode, we're going to do, it's the most requested thing we've had for bonus episodes. We're going to talk about the Scott Peterson case. Obviously, the murder of his wife, Lacey, and we're going to discuss his story, whether it's plausible, what the fuck we think happened, and kind of open it up for discussion and talk all about it and go over some stuff. You can get that and everything else, all that, and a shout out, because we love you, goddammit. All that at patreon.com/Crime and Sports. And you can do it on PayPal as well using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
That said, damn it, Jimmy.
Hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever drive by my house repeatedly spraying rocks and firing shotguns at my grandmother. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Dr. Shay Haggie, who started a new practice in this environment. And,
congrats.
And we helped them do
Good
that.
luck.
So thank you so much, Doc. And I hope you fix people. Jeremiah Gruther's wife, Grundle, or Grundell. I think it's Grundell, right? It can't be Grundle.
Let's go with Grundell. Let's go with Grundell.
It's her birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
Grundell.
birthday to you, Grundle.
Jordan and Simon are celebrating their 17th anniversary this year. Look at them.
Congrats. Look at you Canadian English mixture there. Look at you. We'll see you at live shows. Can't wait.
Mary Claire Grigson, Carol Braun loved the Tyson shows. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Melissa Turner, Rahul Singh. Rahul? I am so uncultured.
The guy from the Great British Baking Company, I think. That's the Great British Bake Off or whatever the fuck it is. The guy named Rahul, an Indian guy, won the.
Was it Rahul Singh?
Maybe.
I hope so.
I hope so.
John Puchler? Puchler. It's got to be. And Clay Thorson's wife, Melissa, had a birthday also. Happy birthday, Melissa. I hope you love it.
Happy birthday to Melissa.
Make Clay do horrible shit in your benefit. Other producers this week are Amy Ambrose. She grew up mad poor, and she got a mortgage. So congrats, you new homeowner.
Congrats.
Maria Rasper, Justine McNeil, James Martyr, Corporal Carl Kirshner, Rabbi Shmuel Olovich, Peyton Meadows, Jimmy D. Nuts. I don't know what that's about. Breaker Happy Hour is out there, so come on back.
Excellent.
Arthur's Uncle Peter and Aunt Pearl, James. Rachel Anderson, Kristen Bellinger, Dances with Vapes, Smelly Moccasins. Bobby Lee, Marianne Rodriguez, Eric Onen, Doug Jones, Hi Dylan, Maria Coop Sousley, Lauren Sullivan, Terry Glover, Kelsey Couts, Jennifer Lunewitz, Martins, Susanna Platt, Janice Hill, Emily McGinn. She got a new job, and she used the town's reviews to pick it, and it worked. She loves the place she's at.
Hey,
congratulations,
sweet.
Emily. Awesome. Emmeline Brumley, Blackjack Mulligan, and Blackjack Lanza. Jessica Finch.
The Blackjacks from the 70s. Very nice. Tag team.
Margaret Eaton donates both ways. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Thank you.
Matt Villanueva, Joseph Ruffino, William Evans, Nancy Weaver, Madeline Frazee of the Frazee Paint Fortune, obviously. Vicky Royalston, Nora Othel Korsgaard, Jacob Rolick. Brendan Schmelzlo? What? Matthew Phillips? No way that's Susanna Foster, Robbie King, Audras, with no last name, Kathy Henry, Madeline Shout, Shit. Is that shit?
One of those, probably.
Sally
Hopefully
Buckingham,
not shit.
Damian Flynn, Wedge Wegman, Chase Fowler, Shannon Thrain, Ashton Davila, Patricia Nye, Don White, Tyler the Dirty Archaeologist. I didn't know there was an A in archaeologist. Clinton McNally. Two A's. I thought it was
archaeologist.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Clinton McNally, Taylor Weir, Sarah with no last name, Moon Girl 1029, Charlotte Mallow, Krista Ramirez, Scott with no last name, Tomper 1, Jennifer Shit. That's shit. SCHEYT. That's sheet. Shit. Casey Alexis, Brian Easter, Connor Piper, Vicky Murphy, Michael Hughes, Megan Bracklesberg. Oh, boy. Tracy Vandenberg, Stephanie Gaunche, Jeff Cole, DeMarcus Moreland, Lauren Armstrong, Nicholas Moore, Dakota Clement, Kat Milani, Biscuit the Cat, Judy Farmer, Rebecca Williams, Vicky Askew, Dylan Hayes, Ryan Winter.
You're a little off on the Askew.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Jameis McNearney, Cordell Norton, Kendra M., Fanny Boisvert, Jimmy's a whore. Got it. All right. Hillary Schroeder, perfect. Rochelle Schilling, R.J., Amanda Payton, Zach Stevenson, Caitlin with no last name, the eccentric prick. That's fun. J.C. What the fuck? Sinjanini? No. Space Lizard Britt, Courtney Groening, Ryan Noble, Emily Dorton, Mary Rowe, Mustafa Anderson II, Random what? Random meth dealer. What? Random Death Meddler.
Andrew Kearney, Dominique Watson, Joseph Simmons, Portia Sandel, Chris Kirby, Melissa Thompson, Zane Royer, Rachel Mosley, I think so, Michael Klein, Lane Price, Brian Lurwill. Oh, what is this? Carrie Smith, seven Rashia. I don't know. Jennifer Hoover, Bella Doletsky, Gina Quick, Blair Collette, Shelley Jackson, Brandy Bosworth, Sarah Lehman, Isabel Devery, Kat with no last name, Josiah Santos, Robert Graves, Zachary Skaggs, Teresa Roney Messenger, Fraser 22, Matthew Crookston, Lisa Holman, Ryan Romine.
Hey. Romaine?
Amanda with no last name, Owen McKay, Philippa Waldberg, King Alex 60. You can't go by King Alex. Come on, man. What are you, fucking LeBron? Bobby Bushnell, Irene Case. You better be the LeBron of whatever you do, Alex. Irene Case, Curtis Vesper, Amelie Dupree, Tom Grace, Olivia Mitchell, Clyde Pine, Julia McElreath? What? Ben Morgan, Becky Schultz, Sean Carly, Tara with no last name, Zach Jonesy Hodges, Pauline Brown, Natalie Odell, Maria Lewin, I don't know, Ashley Harris, George with no last name, Claire Oakley, Sawyer Thoreau, Tiffany Wiggins, Jan Pinnell, Carmen P., Allison Smith, Brooke Smith, Zachary Banks, Maggie with no last name, Marcus Foldo, Dylan Morissette, Stuart Smith, Christina Donadick, Eric with no last name, Mandy McLeod, Michael Frater, Cangeli. Oh, boy. Nice. And all of our patrons, you guys are unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. Honestly, we really... we're just feeling especially thankful this week.
Truly,
just thank you for all that you do for us.
I couldn't be where I am today without you, and you've really built something with us and for us that we can't thank you enough for. You guys are the reason this thing works, and it's awesome to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honestly. What if they wanted to get a hold of you? How do they find you, Jimmy?
You can thank me on the internet, on Instagram and Twitter, at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, and that's where I'm at. Where are you at?
Beautiful. I am at Jimmy P is funny, and that's with a Y, not an IE like the other Jimmy there. And that's how you can tell us apart. Mine's got a fucking Y. Sometimes they hit me up and think I'm you. Yeah. Sometimes they hit you up and think I'm me.
I'm the short one. Matter. That's why I need more letters.
There you go. So check that out. Or just Google the show. You can just Small Town Murder host, and we'll pop up. No one else hosts it, just us. Yeah. So you can find us that way. And you can keep coming back every goddamn week and hanging out with us, because we'll be back next week and every damn week after that. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus